Morning, everyone. How are you? Hope you're all well. There's a few of you in the chat room already, so I thought I'll come on. I got me second coffee for the morning, so I thought I might as well come on rather than sit here waiting. There's a few of you in there already. Morning, everyone. Just finishing off my scones and coffee. Scones for breakfast, Steve. Good stuff. Scones for breakfast. That's usually bloody smoko time, mate, for scones. John's on. How are you, John? Now. John's on from, where are you, mate? Are you in Washington State or are you in British Columbia yet? John and Dana, everyone, were in Washington State the other day and in their Aussie polo shirts. They had their Aussie shirts on. Look good. Thanks for sending the photo through, mate. I threw it up on Facebook and that. Hope you're having a good time up there. And weather should be nice, hopefully. It's summertime up that way. Bloody rain in here still, guys. We can't cop a break from the rain here. It's bullshit. Anyway, it's just been one of those years. This is the wettest year I can remember, eh? Anyway, so not for heavy rain, but just for constant piss you off rain. Drizzle. It just doesn't stop. Margie Lavelle's on. G'day, Mark. Timmy Ryan. Blackers was first in the chat room this morning, I think. Tim and Steve were in there. Thanks for coming on early, lads. Andy Rich has been sending me some emails from the UK. I think Andy might be out camping at the moment, guys. Got his tent pitched and his little Blue Eddy power station, his camp chair. Sent me some photos this morning. It's bloody, tell you what, warm over in Europe at the moment. France and UK and that. France is having some bloody Aussie-type summer weather. Getting up to 39. That's the shit we get in summer here. That's at 9 o'clock in the morning and then it heats up. We had some 50s this summer, didn't we? Remember out west? There were some 50 degrees getting around. Now that is bullshit hot. Anyway, I'll see if we can work out where John is. Here we go. Sitting around an afternoon campfire here in Ennicourts, Washington. Good stuff. Yeah, I saw you in front of that. Oh, I'd say Ennicourts, I think is probably how you say that, mate. Washington State. So he's not over the border yet. John, here's the tip. Wear your Aussie shirts when you go over the border into Canada, and they'll probably be okay, mate. If you wear an American, if you wear your Yank shirt, they might get a bit violent. They might get a bit, you know how it is between the Canadians and the Yanks at the moment, thanks to the big orange fella. So here's a tip. When you go over and you're checking through, what do they call it, customs or whatever, through your border check place, wear your Aussie polo shirts and put on your best Aussie accent and the Canadians will let you through. If they think you're Yanks, they mightn't let you in, mate. Anyway, just joking. Michael, g'day, mate. How are you? Timbo down under. G'day, Timbo. Gidgy Gorilla's on. G'day, Gidge. Gidgy's, I had a good chat with Gidgy. Gidgy's son, Nutty's down in Brisbane at the moment. He's going to watch some bloody heavy metal concert in Brisbane tonight. Some American heavy metal band who I've never heard of. I said they must be pretty good, Nutty. I've never heard of them. So anyway, not sure if Ken and Nutty are going out for a drive this morning or grabbing a coffee somewhere. So it's good for Ken to see his son. Anyway, Nutty lashed out and flew down business class from Townsville to Brisbane. And he said he's in business class and Bob Catter walks onto the plane. And I said to Nutty, what do you do? He said, I just stood up, shook Bob's hand. So Bob obviously had to walk past Nutty. And I said, was Bob in business class? He said, nah, he went cattle class down the back of the plane. So there you go, everyone. That's how Bob rolls. He's one of the people, isn't he? He's wears his heart on his sleeve, old Bob. He's a loose cannon. He's a bit of a nutter, but he's a bloody, pretty down there. Paulie Martin would be doing backflips in his underpants at the moment. Manly had a big win last night over the Storm, Paulie. Geez, they're looking good under Kieran Foran, mate, aren't they? We'll talk footy in a minute, everyone, because I've got a little clip to show you. From my team actually had a win last night. Can you believe that, everyone? Toxaphilly, how you going, mate? saying, g'day, boys and girls. G'day, Toxie. How are you, mate? Jimmy Nauman. Morning, Buck and everyone. G'day, Jim. Ricky Hayes. G'day, mate. Hope you're well. Darren Andrews. Speaking of Andrews, there's another Andrews watching us, everyone, and he's working really hard at the moment. Big shout out to Russ and Paddy. Russ and Paddy are doing it hard this morning. I won't tell you where they are, everyone. They're guarding a bloody highly dangerous prisoner. Probably the most dangerous prisoner Queensland's got to offer. Paddy and Russ are sitting on him this morning. They're guarding him, everyone. Watch out, boys. I've seen Teddy in full flight in his wheelie walker, and if he gets a bloody break, he'll be through the gap and gone, Russ. You will never catch him. I've seen Teddy in full flight on his wheelie walker, mate. Watch out. So, yeah, g'day, Paddy. Paddy and Russ, don't work too hard, boys. Don't work too hard, and don't take your eyes off Teddy for a second. He'll be gone. He'll be bloody hitting about 85k an hour down the bloody hallway of where you are. I won't say where you are. Nicky Taylor down in Mackay. How are you, mate? Yeah, mate, it's wet up here too, Nick. It's wet here, mate. Oh, friggin' hell. I got the backyard. Yesterday afternoon, the sun come out. Although I'll mow the backyard. Good thing about up here is when the rain stops and you get a bit of sunshine, you can get out and mow the lawn an hour later. The rain drains away very quickly. But, yeah, she come back and it's just, yeah, just stop. It's like we can't cop a break, mate. Sick of whinging about the rain. I just hope, when we hook the caravan up in a week and a half or whatever it is now and or in a week's time and head down south to the Barra Crab. Geez, I hope it's not raining at the Barra Crab, mate, eh? It's raining in Mackay, everyone. Have I got Clearview on my phone, everyone? Clearview, weather. Let me see what's doing in Clearview at the moment. Have I got Clearview in my phone, everyone? Which is where the Barra Crab is. No. Clearview. Clairview. Prior preparation, Buck. Mostly cloudy. Clearview, mostly cloudy. 17 to 22, everyone, but no rain. Here we go. Oh, 55% rain today in Clearview. Monday rain, Tuesday rain. And then we've got a few fine days and rain again. That's not how it's supposed to work, everyone. Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, there's some suns there and there's some chance of rains, but it's like 50% chance of rain. You don't mind a little bit of a sprinkle on that, as long as it's just not like that all day. G'day, Danny. Danny's on. Freddie Boots. Morning, Buck. Cold morning in Beaconsfield, Victoria. Yeah, it's not really cold up here. I'm in shorts and my old bloody short sleeve shirt. I'll tell you what I'm a fan of, everyone. These bloody short sleeve Pilbras. The long sleeves I find restricted. I'm going to cut the arms off my long sleeve Pilbras. I just find that long sleeves annoying. But I've got the short sleeve ones here from Brett at SMG. And the most comfortable shirts, and they're cotton, so you can breathe in them. You can wear them up here in North Queensland. They're bloody really good. Good shirts. And you've got a pocket for your phone. I rate them, mate. Ray Newman, g'day, mate. How are you? Ray saying g'day to Gidgey. The Oliver family's on. G'day, Olivers. How are you? Hope you're all well down there on the Gold Coast. Paddy Andrew. Oh, that's Morning, Buck from TUH. He's under Darren Andrew. Oh, Darren. Oh, there you go. Is that your real name, Paddy? Darren. I didn't know that. I thought it was Paddy. The things you learn. How long have I known you, mate? Didn't know your first name. Bloody hell. Sally Webb, good morning. Nippy down in Tassie. Good stuff. Sally Webb's down in Tassie. And speaking of Tassie, Lukey Reed's on the mainland, everyone. Lukey sent me some photos from Melbourne the other day. Lukey is heading north for the Barra Crab. How good's Lukey Reed, everyone? He went to the Legends for Charity in Victoria last year. This year in March, sorry. And he's on the Spirit of Tassie again. He's hit the mainland and he's coming all the way up to central Queensland from Tasmania to come to a 3-day camping event. Good on you, Lukey. That's the type of people we got in this community, everyone. Just bloody unbelievable effort, mate. So it'd be good to run into Lukey again. Lukey's a bit of a cult figure in the camping community. Everyone knows who Lukey is now. And he loves coming to all the camp, and he came to the camping with mates in New South Wales last year. Lukey came to that one and escorted Gidgey home to his swag when he was very, very drunk. So, yeah. No, good on you, Lukey. Be good to see you up here, mate. Dave's on camp. Dave and Lauren, Camp and Oz. G'day, mate. How are you? Hope you're good. Nathan Schilling. G'day, Nathan. How are you, mate? Hope you and Chloe are good. Jeff. Is that Jeffrey Keane? No, I don't think it is. It's a different Jeff. G'day, Jeff. How are you? We'll do some more shout-outs. Terry. Just to let you all know that a few months ago, Terry. I wasn't going to say anything. Terry asked me not to mention anything. Terry's let it out of the bag. So I'm glad you said that, Terry, because I don't want you to think I haven't. You told me you didn't want anyone to know, mate, so I haven't told anyone. I've had people keeping me informed of how you're going, mate, so I can let everyone else know. Everyone, Terry suffered he actually had a heart attack. Terry was mowing the lawn a couple of months ago, not even that, and he's been arse over head a couple of times. Came inside, collapsed behind the mower, did a typical man thing, didn't go to hospital. Oh, I'll be right. So anyway, Terry's finally, it's been a long process the last couple of months, getting tested and all that. Anyway, Terry's just been in for open heart surgery, everyone. Had a couple of bypasses. He's in the Prince Charles Hospital at the moment, recovering from open heart surgery. So can we all give Terry a thumbs up, everyone, and wish him well in the chat room? I wasn't going to say anything. Terry asked me not to tell everyone, but he's let it out of the bag himself now, so I can tell everyone. Let's wish Terry all the best, everyone. Hope you get better, Terry. Gidgey and Nathan have been keeping me up to date, mate, and letting me know how you're going. So I haven't been Gidgey's keep me up to date, mate, as with Nathan. So all the best. I'm glad the operation went well, and I'm glad you're on the road to recovery, mate. And you're not the only one, Terry. My good mate, Pap, Russ, as Russ went up and saw Pap in hospital, Pap's had some problems with his heart. Pap's my best mate. We were army mates from back in the 80s, everyone. Pap has, he collapsed at home, hit his head, ended up in hospital. Just fainted anyway, and then he ended up in hospital again. He went into AF, everyone. His heart went out of rhythm, and Gidgey Gorillas suffered from this. Gidgey's had to have the paddles, everyone. He went into AF. There's a few people I know that have had AF problems where your heart goes out of rhythm. Pap had that problem, everyone. Anyway, he's just spent 21 days in hospital in two separate things, and they've got his heart back into rhythm. I think Pap said they had to give him the paddles. The medication alone didn't get his heart back into rhythm. But anyway, let's give Pap and Terry a thumbs up, everyone, and wish them well. It's not good when you're anything to do with your heart, serious shit, everyone. So Terry, and I'm sure Robin's there by his side, mate. And Gidgey rang me the other day and said, I'll ring Terry because we know Robin's not real mobile either, Terry. So, mate, if you ever need anything, Gidgey's in Brisbane, and if you need something done, mate, just give Ken a text, and he's more than happy to help out. And he rang me the other day and said, I know Robin's not real mobile. I'll have to see if I can, if Terry needs anything. So if you do need something, Terry, Ken's there. Or Nathan's out at Ipswich way, but Ken's available, mate. And if you need something done while you're in hospital, bloody reach out to Gidgey, and he can go and grab something or bring something up to the hospital for you or whatever. So anyway, it's good that the operation went okay, Terry. Good stuff, mate. Joshy Hatch down in South Aussie. G'day, mate. How are you? Bella Jess. Morning. Graham Whittaker. Francis Fitzgerald. Roll your sleeves up, Buck. No, you can't, mate. You get them up near your elbows, and then you can't move. It's like you're in a straitjacket. I'm going to chop them off, mate. I can't roll the sleeves up. As soon as I get them up, because I've got Arnold Schwarzenegger type arms, everyone, I can't get them up above my elbows. I was joking then, but no, don't forget your skin, Buck, before cutting the sleeves off. Yeah, I know, mate. It's too late for me. My arms are riddled with skin sunspots, mate, and skin cancers. Riddled with them. This is my favourite friend. Liquid nitrogen in a can, that's about $120 a can. And all these white spots on my face, everyone, that's all. Me doctor goes a bit silly when he gets the liquid nitrogen gun. He sits there going, psst, and then he having a chat with you. Mate, you're burning through to the other side of me face. And he goes too hard on them. All these white marks, that's just the ones that he's gone too hard on. And I'm not exaggerating, everyone, I've had thousands frozen off over the years. I remember one day I got 33 on one arm taken off. 33, not skin cancers, what are they called? Solar keratosis on one arm, 33 of them. And I reckon I've probably got 133. I got that type of skin, everyone. Yeah, so it's a bit late for me, Graham. The damage is already done, mate. Should see my back. My back, those white spots is like hundreds of them on my back. My whole back just looks like a white spotted bloody gorilla or something. I look like a spotted quoll. That's what I look like. When I take my shirt off, I look like a spotted quoll, everyone. I got white dots where I've had all the skin cancers frozen off over the years. Nice big scar on my left shoulder where I've had one cut out. And then I bent over, stitches burst, and then I had to go through a couple of months of ultraviolet light because I couldn't restitch it. So I got a good scar on my left shoulder, and I got a bloody big scar on the side of my head where they had to cut down just about into my brain. Not that there's a big one there, but cut down into my brain to get underneath that was a skin cancer, that one, and it got into the nerves. And I was staring down the barrel of radiation for that one, but right side of my head was numb for like 12 months after that operation. It was a pretty good one. I'm pretty high on drugs. Oh, Terry. At least it's legal, mate. At least it's legal. Anyway, mate, yeah, I can imagine going in for a heart operation would be scary stuff. So we're all with you, mate, and good stuff. Greggy Campbell's on now. Greggy sent me a text. Has anyone seen Cam and Tiff's latest video, everyone? Cam and Tiff have been given a brand new caravan from Cameron Caravans over in Western Australia. Cam and Tiff had a caravan that was given to them for 12 months by Cameron Caravans. Did the lap of Australia. Fantastic series that they did. And they gave it back to Cameron Caravans. They've detailed it now. And then that caravan that Cam and Tiff had is for sale as a second-hand caravan. They've obviously detailed it and spruced it up and everything. And it bloody did the job. They took it on some rough tracks and it hung in there, that caravan. So Cam said it hung in there better than the 300 series Land Cruiser. So they've been given another one. Cameron Caravans have given Cam and Tiff another brand new caravan, everyone. It's the same one they had, but an updated version with a few extra things. And Greggy Campbell sent me, hope you don't mind me saying this, Greg. Greggy sent me a bloody, let's go to text last night. I only saw it this morning, mate, when I got up. Cameron Caravans and Taurus. So Greggy's got a Taurus van, everyone. And Greg does handovers for Taurus to their new customers. Cameron Caravans and Taurus, T-O-R-U-S, are made in the same factory in China. The owner of Taurus owns a factory in China. Well, there you go. So Cameron Caravans and Taurus come out of the same factory, everyone. And I'll tell you what, it's a nice looking van, and Greg's is a nice looking van. Looking forward to having a look through it when at the Barra Crab, mate, when you come up. That's going to be bloody fantastic. I'm behind in the comments. I can't keep up, everyone. So everyone's wishing Terry and Pap all the best. Good stuff. Yeah. Like Jason from All for Adventure, his arms, and I'm sure all over, are bad from all the years. Yeah, well, he's got, at least Jason and Simon, they don't own sleeves at all on their shirts. And in the early days, well, both of them, I was watching those guys in the early days before Simon even came on. I got sidetracked. I went down a rabbit hole, but I'm going to keep going. I was watching it. Does anyone remember when Jason was in an old bloody 4.2 Nissan Patrol and he was with a bloke called Rotto? And I was watching All for Adventure back in the early days. That's when I liked them. They've got too, I don't watch them anymore. They got a bit too, it's all about sponsorship and everything's just given to them now. They just lost their authenticity. How's that for word of the week? Authenticity. But I remember Jason and Rotto. And I thought the same thing. I wish I had nice brown skin like these blokes, because I couldn't sit there for hours on end in the sun with my shirt off. I'd be like in hospital with 3rd-degree burns with my skin. Hello, all the white marks on there. You see all the white marks there, everyone. That's all where I've had shit frozen off. My whole body is like that. I've had thousands of them frozen off over the years. That's why I don't run around with a shirt off. I look like a spotted quail. Anyway, so we've had that chat about Chinese caravans. We don't have them over here. Yeah, that's right, John. Mate, there's a lot more Chinese caravans. And I'll tell you what, the whole idea of today's thing is we're going to talk about Chinese plug-in hybrid electric things. And if I ever stop talking shit, everyone, we'll get onto that subject, because I've got some clips to show you and all that. And then later on, we're going to hopefully invite someone on who owns one. All going well. Anyway, so I forgot where I was up to then. It doesn't matter. I just went down about 3 different rabbit holes then and lost track of what I was even talking about. I was talking about caravans. So Taurus and Cameron Caravans are out of the same factory. Sunland. Dean and Michelle Gall own a big caravan. It's a Sunland Patriot is the brand of it. Beautiful caravan. I saw last night Sunland has gone into liquidation. So there's another caravan company, everyone, that's gone down the gurgler. Sunland, which was, Dean and Michelle have got a Sunland. Beautiful van. So there's too many of them out there now. There's too many caravan companies out there. And in this climate where fuel prices are unpredictable and not many people are towing until we work out what's going on with this bloody war, which ain't over, everyone. The bombs have started dropping again. We're not out of it. So people are not buying caravans, and it's starting to hurt. We're going to see a lot more caravan companies start struggling. What did Tony say? Steve Richo, g'day, mate. I wish I was going to the Barra Crab. You must be working, mate. You're in Gladstone, aren't you? Have I got the right boat? Are you in 1965? You're my same vintage as me, mate. Yeah, Barra Crab's going to be good. Simon Dent. Sorry, all I got the late. However, we've started talking about PHEV. No, mate. No, Simon. I've been talking shit, mate. We will be very shortly. We're going to be talking about that soon. Paulie Martin's caravan. He's got a Jayco, and I'll tell you what, that is a nice van. That is a nice van. That Jayco that Paul and Rebecca are in is a bloody beauty. Yeah, a few Melbourne caravan builders have gone under. There's too many companies out there. I went to the Townsville show this year, everyone. And did I? Yeah, I was, the Townsville show. And it was just caravan companies there that I've never heard of them before. So there's some closed down, new ones pop up. A lot of those hybrid Chinese vans, everyone, they're nice little vans. They look good. Jawa and Oztrack and all them. And there's a heap of other companies out there now, Snowy River. And they're all out of the same factory in China with a different sticker on them, everyone. Anyway, people go on about Chinese built. Wait till you see these Chinese vehicles, everyone. China are upping their game, everyone. Mark my word, we're going to be sitting here, or I won't be, but we'll probably be here in 5 years' time talking about how China is dominating the car industry. It's starting to happen now, everyone. It's starting to happen now. You should see, I got in a Tank 500 the other day at my local dealer here in Innisfail. They do GWM now, and they had a Tank 500 on display. I got in there, and for the price, everyone, $76,000, it had more on it than what a bloody Land Cruiser would have for $100,000. It was a beautiful vehicle inside. Unbelievable. You think you're in a Mercedes-Benz or a Rolls-Royce. China are upping their game. Unbelievable. And there's a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle coming late this year, everyone. That's got me excited. And I've got a little clip on it, and I'll show you that soon. We're going to talk about plug-in hybrid electric vehicles. The Wanderer. You home yet, mate? Yeah. Do you have have you got your new drink bottle yet? Yeah, Jean sent it to me, mate. I have. I've got me, they're good, aren't they? The Yeti ones. Jean sent the drink bottle up to me. Yeah, it's a beauty, mate. I've had a drink out of it. Non-alcoholic, of course. But at the Barra Crab, what are we? Let me bring the calendar up, everyone. I'll tell you how many days I've got to go till I have a drink. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1 week to go. My first drink, it was going to be at the Barra Crab, everyone, but I forgot that the 5th of July is my birthday. We're heading off for the Barra Crab on the 7th. Roz and I head off on the 7th, and we booked all our accommodation where we're staying. We're going to go out to dinner on my birthday night, the 5th of July. That'll be my first drink, everyone, in 6 months, in over 6 months. So me and Gidge have done it. 1 week to go, and me and Gidge have blitzed it. And you know what? I've done it standing on my head, everyone. I've done it easy. I didn't think I would. I thought I might struggle off the grog. I did it easy. The only day that it really hit me where I really wanted to have a drink was Anzac Day. I thought, my God, I could go a Jamison's on ice now or a rum and coffee for breakfast. But Anzac Day was the only time where, and obviously when I was out camping recently at Woodley Station, sitting around a campfire with a Coke Zero does not cut the mustard. That's when I thought, I should be having a red wine about now, sitting around the campfire at night, having a red wine. I missed it then, and Anzac Day. The only 2 times that I've really gone, I could go a drink now. But anyway, me and Gidge had done it 6 months, everyone. We did that just to prove something to ourselves that we didn't need alcohol. And, you know, like when I start drinking again, everyone, it's going to be responsibly. Oh, I knew I wouldn't keep a straight face, but it will be. Just have a couple. If I'm doing a cook-up out in the backyard, yeah, I'll probably have it. You know, got the Weber going or the barbecue or doing a backyard cook-up, I'll have a beer. But, yeah, just got to just try and make it that couple of beers on a Friday, Saturday night doesn't roll over into Wednesday, Thursday night footy's on. Friday night footy, yeah, I'll have a beer. Saturday night, oh, there's footy on Sunday Arvo, I'll have some more beers. Before you know it, you're drinking 4 days out of the week because the football game's on. And then something out of the ordinary will pop up on Tuesday night or a Wednesday night, Origin's on, have another beer. And next thing you know, you're having a few beers nearly every night of the week. And that's where you start bunging the weight on around your waist. One thing I have managed to do since I've been off the piss, I haven't lost a lot of weight, but I have lost it, everyone. I got under 100 kilos. I could not break under 100 kilos. I couldn't get under there. Got on the scales the other day at the gym, 98.3 or something. So I got under 100. So I lost a couple of kilos. Whoopie-doo. My blood tests come back okay. So anyway, if you're out there, guys, and you're struggling with the piss or even smoking, me and Ken were talking about this other day, sometimes it just takes a bit of intestinal fortitude and stop coming up with excuses of why you need to have a beer or why you want to, oh, I'm stressed out, I'm going to have a smoke. Fucking harden up and just do it. Harden up and do it, everyone. If you want to give something up that you know is not good for you, do it. If you still want to have a drink, be responsible about it. Everything in moderation, as they say, except for obviously illicit drugs and cigarettes. Cigarettes in moderation, we all know that shit ends bad. So there you go. Terry, I think Terry used to smoke, but you can't always blame heart disease on smoking. I know people that have had heart attacks that are non-smokers, everyone. So you can't blame everything on cigarettes. Yeah. We're going to get onto this subject right now. I think of King's PHEV Ute with Aussie flag paint job. Absolutely. We've been going for half an hour, haven't even started. Just been talking shit and saying good day to everyone. Anyway, if I've missed you, dry July. Yeah, that's mate. I just did dry first half of 2026 standing on my head, Paddy. Did it easy, mate, except for Anzac Day and when I was out camping recently. Barra Crab, I'll be able to have a beer and a red wine with you down at the Barra Crab. If I was still off the piss, I'll tell you now, I wouldn't even be going to the Barra Crab, everyone. I wouldn't even bother going. But I'll be drinking. I think Gidgey's going to have Gidgey's booked into the Barra Crab too, if you're wondering. Gidgey will be there, everyone. So Dad 68, smoked from when he was 14 till February. And had to stop or doctor won't help him. Yeah, I know, Nathan. Sometimes people who smoke, it takes a heart attack to wake them up. My mum was like that. Mum, give up smoking. She'd wake up before her eyes were open. She'd have a Craven A filter in her bloody mouth. Mum had a heart attack many years ago now, probably 30 years ago, and hasn't touched a cigarette since. It usually takes something like that to make people do it. People who are grossly overweight, it takes a heart attack or something like that before they wake up and go, I need to fucking lose weight. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, yeah. We had a chat about it. If you want to give something up, everyone, do it. Do it. And don't come up with excuses. Harden up and do it. I proved I can do it, and it was something I wanted to prove to myself, and I know I can do it. So there you go. We'll get off that. Let's get on the footy scores. Thursday night, Marky Lavell's Parramatta Eels. How bad are they going, Mark? Wasn't it 12 all at half time or something? The Rabbits just went to town in the second half. I can't. Eels 12, Parramatta 12, Rabbits 32. Rabbits are going all right this year, and Latrell's not in. When Latrell comes back, they'll go even better. Titans 12, the Bulldogs, the Bullgrubs, Russ's Bullgrubs, everyone, and Brett from SMG. Who else? Jamie Fulton, I think, goes for the Bullgrubs. Doggies 30, Titans 12 on Friday night. And then the second game, any Broncos supporters? Bronx are gone for the year, everyone. Good night, the Fox. The Bronx, I don't think are going to make the 8 now. I think they're gone. Gone, as Paddy Vorton would say. Or Fatty Vorton. Paddy Vorton. Fatty Vorton. 24, Roosters. Broncos 18. Now, this was a good game last night. The first Super Saturday, 3 games last night. The first 2 were beauties, everyone. Dolphins, Roz's fins up. Roz's Dolphins 26 over the New Zealand Warriors 24. Great game of footy. Great game of footy. That was a good game of footy, that one. It was bloody a pleasure to watch that game. And the Dolphins got up. Warriors went in with about 5 to go. Look, they've got this, and the Dolphins came back and scored. Selwyn Cobbo dropped a couple of balls. Hope he doesn't do that in Origin in a couple of weeks' time. Now, this game last night, bit of drop ball, but was an exciting game. Cowboys, 26. Penrith Panthers, who are leading the competition, everyone, by a long way, 12. The Cowboys. Where did that shit come from last night, Cows? You know where it came from. They did it for Jason Tamalolo, everyone. Jace Tamalolo's 300th game for the Cowboys, not just in the NRL, for the Cowboys. He's only ever played for the Cowboys. He played his first game for North Queensland at 17. And we all know how destructive he was in his younger days. Well, last night he was back to his best for his 300th game. Born in, Jamie's Para, is he? Anyway, I thought he was a doggy at Bullgrubs. Well, there you go, bloody. Last night, Tamalolo, he must have got man of the match. When he ran the ball up last night, it was like 10-pin bowling things going back. He was knocking the Penrith forwards like 10 pins last night. They were ricocheting off him. He was back to his best last night for his 300th game. You know, it was really good to see. The King of Tonga and the Prime Minister of Tonga were at the game. They came to Townsville to watch Jason play his 300th game. That was pretty special, obviously, for Jason, special for the Cowboys, but special for Townsville to have royalty come to Townsville to watch a football game at Queensland Country Bank Stadium in Townsville. Great little footy thing. I've played on there. Played a game of footy on there, I'm proud to say. Led the mighty Townsville Chiefs out onto that bloody field. Anyway, so that was special, wasn't it? And it was good that they got up. You could see when they scored tries last night what it meant to them. They really wanted to do it for Jace Tamalolo last night. He's been a wonderful player. Born in New Zealand, but from Tongan heritage. And he was one of the originals who said, when they brought out that you can play for the country of your heritage, not where you're born, but your heritage. So obviously his mum and dad are from Tonga, and a lot of Tongans moved to New Zealand. Jace was born in New Zealand and came out to Australia as a teenager when he was about 13 to Townsville and went to Kerwin High in Townsville, everyone. Kerwin High have always got a great rugby league team. Jason's, I think, eligible for Queensland now. He's eligible to play for Queensland. And I'll tell you what, the way he played last night, Billy Slater might be going. He wouldn't be bad to bring off the bench in the last 15 of each half. Tamalolo in a Maroons jersey. How good would that be? Anyway, one of the tries last night was an absolute beauty. He's my favourite Cowboys player, Jeremiah Nene, who's a Cairns boy, everyone. Jeremiah's Samoan heritage, but him and Helam Lukey are Cairns boys. They used to play in the Cairns rugby league competition. And no, JT doesn't qualify. He must only just miss out, Russ, eh? He must only just miss out. Wow. There you go. We don't need him anyway. We'll beat you without him, Russ. We'll beat the filthy Blues without him. I'm going to try and work out how to play. This was a cracking try last night. And if it works, you can see what this game meant to the Cowboys. They wanted to do it for Jace Tamalolo. I wish they could play with this bloody enthusiasm every week, everyone. We know they're going to go and play next week an away game and get flogged. They're bloody rocks and diamonds. But anyway, doggies are still in the show. It's that Tony Purdy, g'day. Yeah, it was a great game, Tony. I don't know if you went or not, mate, but having the King of Tonga and the Prime Minister, the female Prime Minister of Tonga, that was special. And then they did a big presentation to him after the game. The Queensland Premier was there with the King of Tonga and the Prime Minister of Tonga, presenting Jason Tamalolo an award for his 300th game, not only in the NRL, which is a big milestone, but for the Cowboys. So I'm going to go present video or share the screen. Share the screen. Here we go. I forgot how to do it. Here we go. Share. Now, hopefully you can see that, everyone. Can you see that? I can't see your comments now. Anyway, I'll play it and see if you can see it. This is Jeremiah Nene's try last night with 7.5 minutes to go in the game. It was still a close game at this stage. And remember, Penrith are the team leading the competition.
Okay.
Oh. No. How'd that didn't work, everyone. That did not work. I'm going to go back here. Oh, you can see the screen. You can see the screen okay. All right, I stuffed that up, everyone. Bear with me. Remove. Righto. What about if I go video file? No, that's not working either. No, it's share screen. Stop screen. I'm going to have another go, everyone. Share the screen. Nene. Share. Here we go, this one.
Clifford puts it up here. Again, targeting top. Oh, Edwards coming across. Oh, my God! What a catch! What a try! Jeremiah Nene!
That's a good try.
Absolutely incredible. He's Superman!
Well, that was unbelievable. Nene just out jumps him. Have a look, both of them. That's a brilliant take. Stretches out and scores. And is that enough? A little bit of indecision there at the back. Maybe Edwards called for it. Gets out jump. Nene scores.
We have seen some great tries. Aerial takes over the years, like Steve Gearin and Rambo Ronnie Gibbs, but see.
And look what it means to him too.
Yeah, look at it.
His good mate in Jason Taumalolo. He'll do it for you.
Clifford puts it up.
There we go. Friggin' hell, how hard was that buck? Did you all see that? Did you all see that? Be careful, copyright. Yeah, I don't care, Rob. I don't monetize any of these live feeds anyway, mate. Doesn't worry me if they copyright me. What are they going to do? Say, oh, we can't monetize that. I don't monetize any of my live feeds. So, yeah. No, that's all right. I've seen it now. It doesn't matter if it's copyrighted, mate. I don't monetize my live feed, so it doesn't worry me. Anyway, that was a great try. Nene, not so much the take, but the way he took the ball and then had the mindset to keep his arm off the ground to score the try, because if his arm hit the ground before the try line, they might have got him for a double movement. But the way he kept his arm up to get the ball over the line, that was very, very, very good. So anyway, let's get into what we've come here today to talk about, everyone. I've been getting interested in these plug-in hybrid electric vehicles of recent times, and in particular the utes. And there's 3 plug-in hybrid electric vehicles on the market at the moment, and we all know that the main one that everyone knows about is the BYD Shark 6, which is a good-looking ute. I've seen a few in real life. I'd love to get in and have a driver one, the Shark 6, and hopefully someone might come on today, and he owns a fleet of them and said he might come on and tell us all about them. Yeah, we got who we got? Knights and Tigers today, and the Raiders and the Dragons are the Sunday games. Sharks have got the bye. Anyway, and the GWM Canon Alpha. I've got a few clips of these, everyone, and the other one is the Ford Ranger PHEV, PHEV, plug-in hybrid electric vehicle. We're going to go through a few of the comparisons, because as good as the Ranger looks, I think the Ranger's the best looking one and what have you. But I'll tell you now, we'll talk about it soon. Anyway, I've been following a bloke who's got one of those plug-in Rangers, and in a nutshell, everyone, I think they're great vehicles if you're not towing. If you're towing a caravan, I don't think a plug-in electric vehicle is for you, and you'll see that soon. They're just not for you. So the 3 main ones at the moment, BYD Shark, which we know has got very minimal off-road capability. It's not a 4-wheel drive, everyone. It relies on traction control. What the Shark can do, considering it doesn't have a bloody low range and diff locks and that, it's still fairly capable for a non-4-wheel drive. But your Ford Ranger is a proper 4-wheel drive like your normal Rangers. I don't think it comes with a front diff, locking diff. It has a rear diff, I think, the Ranger. But the Canon Alpha, everyone, unbelievable. That's front and rear diff locks on that thing. So it's like proper on. I'm considering getting a hybrid Corolla next year as my daily car to keep the Outlander as my getaway vehicle. Yeah, Jace, I think there's a place for electric vehicles, but it's not towing caravans, mate. And we'll come across, we'll talk more about that soon. Country life and country living and lifestyle. As someone who owns a Shark 6 and has gone through the mountains and the beaches and taken halfway around the country, it's very capable. Literally have no complaints about it. Country living, I'm going to put the link up soon, mate. It's at the top. It's right at the top. I thought I'd pinned it. I'd like you to come on soon when I invite people to come on. If you've got a camera and whatever, if you want to come in the chat room and tell us all, we really want to hear about it. We're not here to knock anyone who owns an EV or anything. That's not what this channel's about, everyone. I want to do this because I'm interested. I'm interested in hearing from people who actually own one, the good and the bad points. We're not here to knock EVs and all that type of stuff. I reckon in 5 years' time, I reckon they're going to take over the market. Diesels are going to be a thing of the past, everyone. But I don't think we're there yet. I'm probably saying what I should have said in the wrap-up, everyone. But anyway, let's get into it. Let's if I can just work out which one, I've got a heap of bloody, I've got the GWM Cannon Alpha going up Beer O'Clock Hill. I've got the Tank 300 going up Beer O'Clock Hill. BYD Shark hybrid ute comparison. Here we go. So this is the one. I'm going to share the screen again now. I can't see your comments when I've got the videos up, everyone. The government will force us to buy them. Yeah. And here, I'm glad you said that, Rob. Have you noticed, everyone, that diesel at the moment is, and has been for a long time, even before this bloody war started, diesel is almost, and in some stages it does get there, 30 cents a litre dearer than bloody petrol, than unleaded petrol. Unleaded, it's down to about normal prices at the moment. Before the 1st of July, get in and fill your car up before the 1st of July, because that bloody, the excise is going back on, everyone. It's going to jump up again on the 1st of July. They reckon they're going to keep half the excise. So it's going to jump up by at least another 16 cents a litre, from what I can gather. So do that before the 1st of July. Diesel's 30 cents a litre, dearer than petrol at the moment. Like, come on. What's that, $1.20 a gallon in Oz, John? So there, and someone said the other day, that's no coincidence, everyone. They are forcing us to get rid of our diesels and start going electric. Yeah, behind the scenes, that's what they're doing. Why is diesel? I remember the days, and it wasn't that bloody long ago, really. Who remembers when diesel used to be the cheaper fuel? It used to be way cheaper than petrol. Gasoline, as John would say. It used to be cheaper. Now it's 30 cents a litre dearer. Bullshit. I call bullshit on that. The government are forcing our hands, and they are keeping diesel more expensive. I don't know. If anyone's got a better solution, I reckon there's some government involvement in that. They don't want us driving diesel vehicles, everyone. Well, guess what? If you're towing caravans long distances, these friggin' EVs aren't up to speed yet for long distance towing of caravans. I know they're good and they can do it, but I've got some videos here to show you soon. Yeah, it's a byproduct. Yeah, I know. It's, I don't know. I just call bullshit on that. Diesel should be cheaper than unleaded. It always used to be. And now all of a sudden, it's 30 cents a litre dearer. They're forcing our hands, everyone. They're forcing our hands. And it's working because he's a bloke, he's a big pro diesel guy. Oh, I'll never own anything but a diesel. I'm starting to think now, why am I paying 30 cents a litre more for diesel? Which has led me down the thing of, I might start having a look at these plug-in electric hybrid vehicles that can tow, and they can tow. And when they're full battery power, they tow very, very well. They'll leave a diesel for dead when it comes to towing. But the problem is when the battery gets down, they're relying on a pissy little bloody petrol engine to tow a big van. I'm not talking about non-towing now. I know these plug-in electric vehicles, everyone, for tradies, and if you're daily runarounds, I think they're going to take over the market. But for towing a heavy caravan, they're not there yet. But there's some stuff on the horizon. We're going to talk about that soon, where it could be. So, yeah, this diesel, 30 cents a litre, they're forcing our hand. I've no doubt about that. I really think they're forcing our hand, and they don't want us driving around in diesels anymore, everyone. In 20 years' time, I don't think there'll be a lot of diesel vehicles left around. They'll still be around, as in to buy a diesel. Boy, oh boy. Because when they get their shit together, and it's coming, we'll talk about it soon. When they get plug-in electric hybrid vehicles that can tow as good as a diesel, people are going to start buying those things. They're already starting to buy them now, everyone. So I just wanted to show you this one here. I've got a heap up there. It's the comparison one. Hybrid, no. Come on, Buck, where is it? Hybrid ute comparison. So I'm going to share the screen. Ute comparison. I'll just show you the start of this and then we'll go to the end of it, just so you know what kind of vehicles I'm talking about, everyone. Share. Righto. So, I don't know, we'll make that big.
Why would you buy a plug-in hybrid ute? It's so you can do stuff just like this. Pretty cool, right? But it doesn't end there. You can also use these batteries to power up your caravan, live off-grid for days on end. You can even bring your PlayStation from the living room in your house out into the bush and play a World Rally Championship if you're so inclined. Or if this campfire isn't warming you up enough, you could pack some white goods from home, even a dryer. These things have enough grunt to turn that on and run without being anywhere near a house. I reckon that's pretty cool. But I do have some big questions about the plug-in hybrid ute overall. The big question is, do they actually make any sense? Should you be considering one as your next purchase instead of a diesel-powered ute? And if you are considering one, which one should you buy? There's 3 on the market at the moment, and we've got all 3 of them here in this comparison. The Ford Ranger plug-in hybrid, the BYD Shark.
They're not bad looking utes. I'll tell you what, that BYD Shark is a nice looking ute, isn't it? It really is. Actually, they all look, I reckon out of all the front views there, I reckon the Ranger looks the plainest out of all of them, everyone. The BYD, the front of the BYD, and even the Canon Alpha there, the Great Wall, GWM Canon Alpha, I reckon the front of those vehicles looks better, but looks is a lot of people go on looks, don't they? Have a look at the Kia Tasman. Why is it not selling, everyone? Because it looks like shit. It's a horrible one. People aren't buying it because of look. Looks is a big thing. People like a tough, good-looking ute. Okay, and the BYD Shark, I've seen they're quite a big ute as well. They're probably bigger than the Ranger. And the Canon Alpha's quite a wide ute as well. They look good.
6 and the GWM Canon Alpha PHEV. They've all got their strengths and they've all got their weaknesses, let me tell you. And I want to run you through everything that you need to know about these utes in this video. Let's get into it.
Righto, so this is a bloody 47 minute clip, but I want to go to the end here. Everyone's just going to go to the end. Hopefully you can see this.
Diesel power.
So in summary, all of these plug-in hybrid utes are compromised in their own way. In my opinion, the technology in terms of the plug-in hybrid setup isn't there just yet.
Yeah, I agree with him here. It's not there yet. These are going to get better. They're only going to improve, everyone. As I said, in 5 years' time, there's going to be a lot more than just 3 here. There's another one coming. You'll see that soon. There's another one coming at the end of this year, and it's got my attention. Well, I've got a little clip on it. 5 years' time, where are we going to be with these things? I think diesel's days are numbered.
Might take a few more years of development, but here are the cliff notes if you're looking at one. If you're
That's a good-looking ute. I don't care what anyone says. That's a nice-looking ute. Stock standard. It hasn't got bar work or anything like that. That's a stock standard BYD Shark. I reckon that's a bloody nice-looking ute.
city slicker, you don't want to go off-road, buy the BYD Shark.
Have a look at that. Compare that to my BT50, or me and Roz's BT50, everyone. Have a look at the size of the screen there, which we'll talk about soon. They go on about, oh, don't touch a mobile phone when you're driving. You'll get a $1,000 fine. It's dangerous. Everyone's driving around now on these new friggin' electric vehicles with a 48-inch bloody plasma touchscreen television on their dashboard. Don't tell me that's not distracting when you're driving. But anyway, I digress. Look at the interior. And as I said, I got in that Tank 500 yesterday, everyone, and it's impressive. The interior leaves the rest of them for dead. The China and even Paul Marrick and who you'll see soon, all these, they just go on about the Chinese vehicles are leaving people for dead when it comes to all the bang for buck. This thing's under $60,000. It's $50-something thousand for a BYD Shark. Have a look at the technology in it. It's incredible. That is a luxury vehicle.
It's excellent value for money, and it's a nice thing to drive. If you want no compromise in terms of the towing capacity and the payload, look at the Ford Ranger XLT. You're going to spend up, and you're not going to get all those nice bells and whistles, but that has 3.5-ton towing and a decent payload. But
the Ranger, everyone, the battery in the Ranger, well, I'll talk about it soon, is bloody a third of the size of the Chinese ones. It's got nowhere near the capacity of the two Chinese utes.
that leaves finally the GWM Cannon Alpha. It's in almost a Goldilocks position between these other two utes. It's really well equipped. It doesn't cost as much as the Ford Ranger. It's got a big...
That tyre, if they can sort that spare tyre problem out with the Cannon Alpha, they're going to sell a lot more. And it's a suspension lift, and that sort that tyre out, and that Cannon Alpha is going to be a good thing.
Big battery with a big EV-only driving range and plenty of space on the inside. Yes, it has its issues, but that's why I give it the win out of this comparison. Now, let me know in the comments below which...
So he does, this is a 47-minute clip. He does towing, off-road. He does a comprehensive thing. And the Cannon Alpha, everyone, off-road, has got front and rear differentials. The old BYD Shark, everyone, struggled off-road because it's not a proper four-wheel drive. As I said before, it's not. It hasn't got bloody low range, hasn't got a transfer case like the other two have, like the Ranger and the Cannon Alpha.
Which one of these do you choose? Do you stick with Team Diesel like I do? Or
I am for now, and I have to because I can't afford a new car. But I think in 5 and 10 years' time, Team Diesel, there's not going to be a lot of us left, everyone.
Would you choose one of these utes? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, as always, and I'll see you on the next video.
That was a really good comparison. It goes for 47 minutes. That's a really good comparison, that one, everyone. Hybrid ute comparison. I'll get rid of that. Go back to here. So hopefully you saw that. We have leather in both our vehicles. It's tougher than the cloth interior. Yeah, absolutely, mate. Trouble with leather here. Up in North Queensland, you got to have bloody seat covers on because you go to get in your car here if it's been out in the sun in summer and you just got leather seats, your skin will stick to it, mate. So yeah, that's why I got lamb's wool seat covers up here so you can get into your car. Anyone ever been, when you're a young bloke, remember the days when we used to drive, you didn't have a shirt on and you'd get in your car with no shirt on and go to click your seatbelt on, and the steel buckle of your seatbelt that's been sitting in 35 degrees sun for about 6 hours, that would touch your skin as you were trying to do it up, and it was like someone putting a bloody branding iron on you. Has anyone been hit by the hot seatbelt buckle? I'll tell you what, you know all about it. Yeah. Team Global Express are running electric trucks in Sydney. Yeah. They're going to get better. Brad Howe, g'day. Traditionally speaking, Australians are known worldwide as aggressive adopters of new technologies. We are being used as a mass market test bed. Yeah, Brad. And a lot of people are going over there. I'm not sold on them yet. I'm not sold on them, but I'll tell you what, my ears have pricked up on these plug-in hybrid electric vehicles. My ears have pricked up, mate. I reckon in 5 years' time, which is probably where I'll be in 6 years' time, I might be in a position to buy a new vehicle. My BT50's got to do me for another 6 years, everyone, when I can touch me super. So anyway, I won't go in. Everyone go, oh, Buck, you're already 60. You can touch your super. Yeah, I can, but I've got a complicated, because of veteran affairs, it's complicated, everyone. I'll get penalised if I touch me super before 67. So anyway, the old BT, I've got to treat it with kit gloves and look after it for another 6 years, everyone. But it's going good, the BT50. And I'm going to, during this, tell you some advantages of my BT50 over these three bloody things. And we're going to keep going. We'll keep going with some stuff. They're the three plug-in hybrid electric vehicle utes, everyone. The Cannon Alpha, the BYD Shark, and the Ford Ranger. But there are other plug-in hybrid electric vehicles on the market. The Tank 500, the Tank 300. They also come in the Tank 300. You can get a diesel. You can get a Cannon Alpha, just a diesel engine only, a 2.4 diesel. Watching a New Zealand guy with a Cannon Alpha diesel, no electric, and he's really happy. Got a big boat. He tows a big boat with it, and he said, mate, tows it beautifully with a 2.4 litre turbo diesel, towing this massive big boat over in New Zealand. And he said he's really happy with it. He's had no issues whatsoever. So anyway, let's go. That Canon Alpha, we all know Beer O'Clock Hill, everyone. We all know Beer O'Clock Hill. So let's do a couple of Beer O'Clock Hill videos just to show you that the Chinese vehicles are mixing it. They're in there and they're mixing it. They're very, very capable. That Tank 300, if you just got a little diesel Tank 300 or even the plug-in version of it for a runaround vehicle and to do some week-ending four-wheel driving and that, why wouldn't you go and buy one of these cheaper Chinese vehicles with a good warranty and are very, very capable? So let's go again. Let's which one am I going to show you now? No, I don't want to do that. I want to share the screen, and no, I don't want to show you that one yet. Here we go, this one. This is a good clip. These are all the Great Wall GWM vehicles. They got a, that looks like a Tank 300, a Tank 500, a diesel Canon. The red one's is the diesel only, and the black one is the plug-in electric hybrid one, which has got a 2-litre turbo petrol. Canon Alpha are bringing out a diesel plug-in electric hybrid, and that's what they need to do. They need to start bringing out a diesel engine because these little petrol engines are struggling when they tow everyone. But, yeah, so anyway, let's watch this one.
Welcome to the Spring 4x4 Park, Queensland's rugged off-road playground, where GWM puts 3 off-road titans to the test. First, the Mickey Thompson test track. Wheel articulation, approach, breakover, and departure angles. It's the perfect proving ground.
The Springs always provides a wild ride.
Next, Tank Hill.
This is the Springs four-wheel drive park, everyone, which is between Warwick and Stanthorpe. So if you've never been there, yeah, and they've got easy four-wheel drive right up the Beer O'Clock Hill. I don't know why you'd want to do that in your good vehicle and bash it around. But anyway, yeah, the Springs four-wheel drive park south of Warwick.
Hill, a nice rocky incline with a rewarding view. Then the ultimate challenge, Beer O'Clock Hill. Steep, rough, unforgiving. No second chances. The first runs, we did it with basic all-terrain tyres. The XSR attempting it 100% stock from the factory, and the hill made sure we felt it. Remember this date, 21st of May 2025 is when a box standard Canon XSR conquered Beer O'Clock Hill, the second factory spec vehicle to ever scale this rocky.
So that's just got, that's the stock little, that's the diesel. So that's no plug-in electric vehicle. That's just got the diesel engine in it there, stock like the BT50.
Unforgiving 100-metre climb. With some basic all-terrain tyres, the Tank 300 Ultra Diesel conquered Beer O'Clock Hill, giving our four-wheel drive experts a shock.
Guys, that is an exhilarating ride.
But let's not forget the star of the show, the recently launched stock Canon Alpha PHEV, with a set of Mickey Thompson's all-terrain tyres, became the first plug-in hybrid vehicle to conquer Beer O'Clock Hill. High 4T for the win.
That is absolutely incredible, man. Like, I've seen a lot of vehicles attempt this hill. Not many in the wet. It was very impressive.
We're not here to break a vehicle. We're here to try and get to the top and prove what these cars can do.
Stock suspension, factory components, just a set of tyres, and now Beer O'Clock certified.
For a factory vehicle to drive up Beer O'Clock Hill with the confidence that these vehicles have, that's a win for me.
We've just smashed that, like, seriously, dozens and dozens of times, both of us, confidence all the way, and that will take us to the airport tonight.
Diesel, petrol hybrid, plug-in hybrid. No matter how you power it, GWM will get you there and, more importantly, get you back. GWM, go with more.
So there you go. How good's that? I'll remove that one. Remove. Righto. Hopefully you all saw that. Let me know if you saw that, everyone. Comments are not far off the mark, Chris. Yeah, I know. What's the clip of a Tesla Smart smoking in it? Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm not sold on them yet either, Chris. I'm not sold on them yet either. But I'll tell you what, they're getting there, aren't they? Just remember, these things haven't been around that long, everyone, and they're already starting to impress people. Imagine what happens as time goes on. They were stock standard bloody GWMs getting up Beer O'Clock Hill. I've seen Raptors and Land Cruisers and some bloody big name 4-wheel drives try to get up that hill and haven't been able to do it. So where is Beer O'Clock Hill, Mark? That is at the Springs 4-wheel drive park, which is south of Warwick, mate. So it's in South Queensland. And there's lots of 4-wheel drive tracks there. It'd be a good place to go if you just want to do. They've got easy tracks through to intermediate right up to Beer O'Clock Hill. And you just pick what you want to do. Would I take the BT50 up Beer O'Clock Hill? No, everyone. Because all you're going to do is it's a bloody, if you get up, I got up Beer O'Clock Hill, and then you're probably up for $3,000 worth of friggin' steering suspension damage and all the rest of the shit. So, yeah, I don't know. My days of bashing up rocks and all that in my 4-wheel drive, they cost too much to do that stuff now. They really do. I've done it in the past, but yeah, owned by, Mad Matt's another guy. That guy who owns the Springs, he's very, very good at going up that. So that one was Towing for Dummies, BYD Shark, attempts a hill. I'll get rid of that one. Anyway, so I'm going to remove that. No, I'm not. I should practice with this. I don't do this StreamYard enough, everyone. I'm starting to struggle with how to get rid of shit. Anyway, let's go. BYD Shark attempts there. The BYD Sharks are very good, everyone, except off-road. And here's a stop the screen. There we go. Stop the screen, but share the screen. And BYD Shark attempts a hill. So this is the BYD Shark. Remember, they don't have a transfer case and they don't have low range and diff lockers and all that, everyone. They've got an electric motor at each end of the vehicle. The little 1.5 petrol engines used to charge those electric motors, and then it relies on traction control. And for something that's not really a 4-wheel drive, it does a pretty good job. Really struggling there.
Safety first.
We've seen the video of someone flipping out of the car. Right?
Yeah.
Safety first.
Oh, that time it'll make it up, boys.
Yeah, so there you go. You can see there. You can see there where it doesn't have 4-wheel drive. For some light off-roading, the BYD Shark can do it, everyone. But the way I've seen people getting their BYD Sharks up obstacles is they're going fast and bashing their way up. And that's how you do damage to your vehicle. The whole idea of 4-wheel driving is doing it technical. Put your lockers on and crawl up. Pick the best way and try and crawl up and do the less damage. That's why I like lockers, everyone. Put my rear locker on. I sometimes put my rear locker on when I don't really need to. But it just means you don't have to give it as much right foot to get over a rock step up or something like that. I've done a bit of 4-wheel driving in the BT50, and if I think I need, I'll just use my locker. I'll find just crawl up, less damage to your vehicle. So let's go. GWM conquers Beer O'Clock Hill. I think we've done that one, haven't we? Where's the this is the one I'm excited about, everyone. I just want to show you this one here. There's another ute coming later in the year, and it's called the Cherry. Now, C-H-E-R-Y, you're probably thinking, Cherry? Oh, those, I'll tell you what, they're in behind the scenes, and they're coming out with a ute that looks very, very good. Have a look at this. This Cherry, everyone, it's going to have a 2.5-litre turbo diesel engine under it. It's a plug-in hybrid with a big battery. We'll go through all the kilowatts and all that soon. A big battery, and it's not a bad-looking vehicle at all. Share the screen. Cherry Stockman. Look at this one. This one's got me excited, everyone.
G'day, Paul. A little while ago, I showed you the Cherry KP31, and it kind of blew up. People love the look of this thing. It is Cherry's.
This is not a bad looking ute, everyone. Comes standard with BF Goodrich KO3 all-terrains as standard. That way you know that bloody companies are fair dinkum when they start putting all-terrain tyres on as standard.
First dual cab ute, or under the Cherry umbrella at least. And have a look at this. They have got a couple
That's not bad looking, is it?
of modified versions here, plus...
That is horrendous. I don't know why you would do that to your vehicle, but the silver one is the one that looks like it's coming to Australia. Someone's... Why? I don't know. That looks horrendous.
Basically a standard...
That's a standard Cherry Stockman, they're going to call it, everyone. It's going to be called the Cherry Stockman. This is the one coming to Australia at the end of this year with a 2.5 litre turbo diesel under the bonnet, and it's a plug-in electric hybrid with something like a 34 kilowatt hour battery, which is something like 34 kilowatt hour electric battery in there is like having 2,500 amp hours of 12 volt battery in the back of your vehicle. We think now if you've got a 200 amp or a 300 amp lithium in the back of your vehicle to run your fridges and that's pretty good. This thing's going to have the equivalent of 2,500 amp hours to run your fridge off.
Version that we didn't see at the event in Sydney. And I want to show you some of this and give you some more spec highlights as well. We'll start over the back here. So this thing is sitting on 35s, which looks absolutely unreal. Beneath the skin, though, we've learned that this will come in both a diesel and petrol plug-in hybrid. It'll be leaf springs for the diesel plug-in hybrid and coil springs for the petrol plug-in hybrid. Part of that is due to the power and torque output. So the diesel plug-in hybrid, 800 newton meters of torque, over 300 kilowatts.
You think about it, everyone. The Ford V6 Ford Ranger has 600 newton meters of torque. This thing's coming out with 800.
Of power, and the petrol plug-in hybrid is going to pack 1,000 newton meters of torque. Have a look at this as well. So they've partnered with a brand over here to fit aftermarket suspension to this, which increases the ride height by 2 inches. It comes with over 220 mil of ground clearance in its standard form. This one is noticeably higher. And then if we whip around to the side here,
off-road animal bull bar on there. How good did that look?
this is the basically the production version of this, which doesn't have any accessories fitted to it. It comes with a meaty set of all-terrains. Look, in my opinion, I know styling is entirely subjective, but I think this looks sensational.
What do you reckon? Put a comment. I can't see your comments at the moment. What do you think of the new Cherry? I reckon it's a nice looking ute, everyone. Looks a bit like a shark in a way. Comes standard with KO3 all-terrains. Put an off-road animal low bull bar on there with some spotlights and whatever. 850 newton meters of torque, 2,500 amp hours of battery to run your fridge off in the back. This is and you know what? And when your battery does go down low, you've still got a 2.5 litre turbo diesel to tow with. I'm really looking forward to seeing the reviews on this when it hits Australia.
Other key figures we now know as well, about 2,500 kilos. So it is going to be a bigger thing, but...
And I forgot, it's going to have 1,000 kilogram payload, which a lot of them don't have. 1,000 kilogram payload, which is what your Rangers and your BT50s and that have got.
That is because you've got a battery under there of about 30 kilowatt hours, and they've kind of adjusted the grille here as well from the version that we saw at the Sydney event. This is another one that has a whole stack of accessories on it as well, and this one looks a little bit not my style, but
that's what Paul said. He's the best reviewer on YouTube. This guy, Paul Marrick, everyone, car expert. He does some really, really good car reviews.
Hey, if you're into that kind of thing, you can kind of go for it. So this will go on sale at the end of the year in Australia, which I am very excited about because you know what, we need some more quality dual cab ute products. Come around the back, actually, Sean. A little sticky beak around here as well. So we saw at the Sydney event as well, you've got a step over here to pull things out of the tray, and then another one around the back here as well. And they ran a competition in Australia to kind of figure out what the name is going to be. But over here, it's going to be, or in other international markets, it's going to be called the Himmler. For Australia, they'll pick a different name.
Himmler. What a name for a car, Himmler. Anyways, they had a competition here in Australia. It's going to be called the Cherry Stockman, everyone.
We also now know what the interior looks like. I couldn't show you that in our last video, but it is a pretty impressive looking interior. They have gone for...
Have a look at that. That's space age. That's the interior. What it's going to be similar. I think they'll bring out the Australian one with different colours and all that. I don't think they're going to have that. I'm not a fan of that. But have a look at it. Just, that's like a bloody spaceship, everyone. And they're tipping that this Cherry could be under $60,000 when it comes into Australia. Stock standard, under $60,000 they're tipping.
Luxury, and I don't know, the luxury is nice because it looks good. It works well for BYD with a Shark, but it is very high end. So I don't know whether they'll do a scaled down version for the tradie or whether they will just aim to go for that sort of that middle end luxury market. If they're going to price this well, it'll need to compete with the BYD Shark, so about that sort of $60,000 mark. This will have 3.5 tons brake towing capacity, a ton of payload. So it is pretty capable straight out of the box. And it should really put legacy brands on notice because you've got Nissan coming with the Frontier Pro, which is a similar plug-in hybrid setup.
That Nissan have got into bed with, you know, Nissan are Japanese, everyone. They've got into bed with a tractor company or a vehicle company called Dongfeng. Me mate Pap's got a Dongfeng tractor, everyone. Dongfeng have put a lot of work into this. So this is a Nissan Ute that's coming in. But I had a look at this one. Nowhere near as impressive as the Cherry, I don't think.
And I think this looks sensational. And if they can get the pricing right, they could be onto a real winner here, given that they have a long warranty in Australia. So let me know what you reckon about the latest specs here on the KP31. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. If you didn't...
All right, so we'll go back there. Remove, and I'm going to stop screen. Yeah, so the Cherry, I'll get rid of that. Let's catch up on some comments. Good vehicle for driving around Sydney eastern suburbs. Yeah, that Cherry, everyone. I'll tell you what, that when I saw that, I thought, oh boy, they've got a 2.5 litre turbo diesel under there, so that when the battery does start getting low for towing and that, you've at least got a half decent turbo diesel engine for towing. The Kia Tasman, everyone, has got a 2.4 turbo diesel. It's not electric at all, and it tows very well. They reckon the Tasman. So this has got a 2.5 turbo. When you've got the electric there working in with the diesel, I think it's going to be a good thing. I reckon that Cherry, look out. Look out, everyone. Finally, a bloody plug-in electric hybrid vehicle that doesn't have a little petrol engine. It's coming out with a diesel as your backup. So I think it's going to be, it looks good, doesn't it? What are your comments there? I'm too short. I'd need to wear plastering stilts to get in. Yeah, they're quite a big ute. They reckon they look bigger than the Ranger, everyone. Anyway, looks like a banana. Oh, the other one, yeah, Nathan, the Nissan looked like a banana. But the Cherry, that silver Cherry, the silver Cherry looked all right. I can't wait till that hits Australia. And then when Paul Marrick and some other guys start reviewing that, I think it's going to be pretty bloody good. Now, towing, everyone. There's a guy, I think it's Dash Off Road, but he's also got a YouTube channel called Don't Do What Dave Did. And he's got a pretty good YouTube channel, everyone. He actually owns a Ford Ranger plug-in electric hybrid ute. Okay. Now, the Ranger. Let's go through some things here. The Ranger PHEV, we'll just call it a PHEV, everyone. It's got an 11.8 kilowatt-hour battery in there. Okay. And that equates, if you want to go to 12 volts and think about it as a lithium battery in the back of your car, 983 amp hours. So it's like it's got a 900 amp hours. People would kill to have that in their caravan. Okay, so the Ranger, it's the smallest of the batteries, everyone. 11.8 kilowatt. The Shark's got a 29.58. And the GWMs, everyone, their batteries are 37.1. which is over 3,000 amp hours in 12 volt torque, over 300 amp hours. So a lot of people, and they've done it, there's some channels out there, you go off grid, you can plug your caravan in to your four-wheel drive and run your caravan like you're at a caravan park off the battery, because the GWM's got like 3,000 amps in there. The Shark's got about 2,500 amps sitting in the back, at 29 kilowatt hours, and the Range is the smallest of them. Okay. What did he say that the Cherry was going to have? About 30, 34. So the Cherry's going to have a decent sized battery in it as well, everyone. So if it's got a 240 volt plug or plugs in the back, you just run your fridges off 240 and you'll never flatten it. You don't have to worry about solar panels and all that shit. You just run it off the battery in the back there. Go for a drive and it just naturally charges those batteries up, or you charge them up at home. Okay, so the batteries in there are incredible. The bloody capacity of them. Let's go to the towing one. Now, the problem with the towing is, this is why I don't think these plug-in electric hybrid vehicles are ready for towing yet, everyone. They can do the job, the Canon Alpha, the Ranger. This is what this, don't do what Dave did. Let's see what he's got to say. Wrong one, but wrong one. Share the screen. PHEV towing for dummies. This is don't do what Dave did. I think he's also got on that YouTube channel Dash Off-Road. Don't quote me on that. So he actually owns one of the Ford Ranger PHEVs, everyone. So he's not getting paid to say, he actually owns the vehicle.
The thing is, though, when you do press that auto EV, that's when you get the full 700 Newton meters. And like when that kicks in, it's like more than almost anything else that you're going to buy as far as torque goes.
So the one pain about this car is how often you have to fill it up with total. Like I'm getting about 250 Ks out of a tank, and that's pushing it, which is just unrealistic for, doing a big trip or any decent sort of travel. I'm sure you guys looked at my fuel ratio before at 24, I think it was, liters per 100, and I bet the diesel owners are gasping. But I'll tell you, when I look at the fuel prices behind me for diesel, I can't see it now.
All right, so I'll get rid of that one. I just want to, he said a few things there. That's a Canon Alpha, everyone. We're going to show you that soon. How good's that look? So that was that Dave thing. He did a trip from towing. Where did he tow? He towed to Adelaide and back, I think. Anyway, he was getting 250 kilometres towing his caravan. It's 2.8 or 3 ton caravan. He's only getting 250 kilometres to a tank. So he's exhausted his electric capacity, which is only 11.8 kilowatt hours. He's exhausted that, and he's out of fuel. It's a 70-litre unleaded petrol. The Ranger, it's not a diesel, everyone. It's got a 2.3-litre turbo petrol underneath, which is the Ford Focus, and that run the same engine, apparently. It's got a 2.3-litre turbo petrol under there. And you saw what he said. When you're going up a hill and you've got plenty of battery capacity there, and you put your foot down, you can get 700 Newton meters of torque. And they fly up hills way quicker than what a diesel will. But once the battery gets exhausted, you're then relying on the engine, the petrol engine under the bonnet, a 2.3-litre turbo petrol. It still tows it okay. It's not fast. It still does the job, everyone. But he's only getting 250 kilometres to a tank of fuel, 70 litres, 70-litre tank the PHEVs have got. 250 Ks is unacceptable. I can get, if I push it, 500 out of the BT50 towing my van with full water tanks. I can get about 500. I'm not even happy with that. I can get nearly 800 when I'm not towing. So 500, 450 to 500. He's getting 250. It's just, and his fuel consumption is about 24 point something, 25 litres per 100 kilometres, which I think's too high, everyone. That's too high. Brad gets low 20s out of his Dodge Ram, out of his Ram. No, it's not Dodge Ram, out of his Ram and his Zone RV. Like when I tow the BT50, I got about 2.5 ton on the back of the BT. I get between high 16s is the best I've got to mid 18s. So I'm around the 18 mark on the BT50 diesel, and I can get 500 kilometres when I'm towing. If I really wanted to push it, I don't try and get it down that low, but I could probably get 500 out of the BT50. This guy's getting 250 on long trips. There's a lot of servos that are more than 250 kilometres apart everywhere. Like when you get into remote, 250 doesn't cut the mustard. So it's bloody not good enough. That's the Ford Ranger PHEV, 250 kilometres to a tank towing and 25 per 100. I don't think that's good enough, everyone. I don't think it's good enough. That's why I'm looking forward to seeing the Cherry and seeing what that can do when it comes out with a 2.5 litre turbo diesel. So when you do exhaust your battery, which is going to last a lot longer than the bloody, like it's got 3 times the capacity. Okay. That Ranger without towing, everyone, on EV mode only, if you just use it, you can't even get 50 kilometres on an EV out of it. The GWM Cannon, they're rated for 100. I think the Shark 6 is as well. On EV mode, just driving around, I could drive to Cairns on electric in a Shark or a Canon Alpha. I get lucky to get halfway in the Ranger. So I don't think Ford rushed into it a bit too fast, I think, and they've been left behind by the Chinese as far as I'm concerned. What do you reckon, everyone? 250 Ks? I know he's going on about unleaded's cheaper than diesel. Yes, absolutely it is. But I'd rather pay extra for diesel and know I've got a 500 kilometre range. And if I've got a bloody 2 Jerrys in there, that might get me 700 kilometres. I throw 2 Jerrys in. Let's work. Jerry's 20 litres. I know I can get about 18 on a bad day. I can get better than 18 sometimes. So I know I can get 100 kilometres on a Jerry diesel. So if I can get 500 out of my 80 litre tank, throw 2 Jerrys in, I've got about a 700 kilometre range with 2 Jerrys in, tow my van, roughly. Those PHEVs, they're not up there yet, everyone. They need to get in, and I think this is where Cherry's gone. These petrols aren't cutting the mustard, everyone. Let's put a 2.5 litre turbo diesel under there. So anyway, I've got a couple more to show you, and then we're going to invite someone into the some people into the chat room to see. Yeah, Chinese subsidy, slave labour. Yeah, I know, mate. I know, and that's why we buy everything Chinese now, John. Nothing's made here in Australia anymore, mate, because we all want 100,000 a year to turn up the work. Don't get me started on that one. Yeah. What a waste of a battery in the Ranger, Danny. Yeah, I know, mate. As I said, kilowatt hours, everyone. The Shark's got, let's say, 30 kilowatt hour, 29.58, which is about 2,500 amps in the back. If people think and convert it to 12 volts, thinking about how much stored energy you've got in the back of that Shark, it's like having a 2,500 amp hour lithium battery in the back of your car. It's incredible. Even the Ranger, we're knocking the Ranger at only having 11.8 kilowatts. That's like just under 1,000 amps sitting in the back. Bloody amazing. Plug your fridge into the back of the Ranger. How long's 1,000 amps going to get your 50 litre King's fridge going? Unbelievable. You run that for a month. You wouldn't have to worry about solar. I like the idea of these PHEVs. You pull up at you pull your bloody 240 volt air fryer out, plug her into the back of the ute, and cook a couple of chicken Kievs up on 240. No inverters or anything. It's all built into the ute, everyone. None of this bloody 12 volt stuff anymore. Just plug in 240 into the back, and away you go. Take your 240 volt frying pan from home out and cooking that. They're game changers, but we're not there yet, especially when it comes to towing. So when you think about that, the Cherry's going to have a 34 kilowatt hour battery in it. So that Cherry that you saw, the silver one, with 1,000 kilo payload, which is up there, that's bloody very, very good. A ton payload. So you can throw a canopy on. You can throw a draw system in the back. Okay. The Canon Alpha and that, and the BYD Shark, their payload's not that good. The Shark's got, if you're wondering, Shark's got a 1.5 litre petrol under it. That is designed to charge up the 2 electric motors. The Shark runs totally different to what the Ranger and the Canon Alpha do, everyone. The Shark's a totally different vehicle. Okay, I don't think the Shark's meant for towing, and it's not meant for off-road. But hopefully someone will come in the chat soon that's got a Shark and tell us what it is good for. And I think around town, in the cities, tradies, things like that, I think the Shark is a bloody good thing. And I've seen a couple in real life. They're a nice-looking vehicle. Righto, what else have I got here to show you? I'll find out. What else have I got? Share the screen. GWM, I've showed you that one. What's this one? Let's have a look at this. This is a GWM Canon Alpha that's had the chop and put a canopy on. You don't tell me this isn't a bad looking ute. It looks like a Hilux. It looks like a done up Hilux, everyone. These Canon Alphas are about 60,000, everyone. You buy a Ranger. What's a Wild Track Ranger in the 80s now, everyone? Before you do anything to it, these, you got 20 grand up your sleeve for accessories when you buy these Chinese things.
Hey guys, JC here from XTS. Today I have a special treat for you, a brand new Canon. Now, a lot of people don't see these as a genuine four-wheel drive, but as you can see by this example here, the customer's done an amazing job of accessorising it. He's obviously got the bull bar on the front, he's had the suspension done, he's had the wheels and tyres done, and yes, he's already had it up the beach. But today, we're here to talk about what XTS has done to this rig. Come check out the back. So to really give this Canon the XTS magic, we've coupled it up with one of our premium 1800 trays. Now you've got your fuel filler here, we've got extra reinforcing with the headboard as well, so you don't get as much movement. He's optioned it up with our drinking water tank in the front here, so you've got your flush mount filler, and that's got a built-in pump, and it's actually stainless steel, so you don't get any plastic taste out of it. As you can see here, we're known for these, our under tray drawers. These are an amazing feature. The amount of times when we used to have the drop downs, every time I'd open it, everything would fall out, you roll them a snatch strap up again.
I love this idea of having these slide out drawers, everyone. Absolutely amazing. Wait till you see the back one. Great if you're a firearms owner, you've got to transport your rifle or whatever. You wait till you see the back one. But I'd love to have a ute. I think if I ever buy another ute, it'll have a tray back and have a canopy. Trouble with these canopies here, everyone, up in North Queensland, you'd have to have sliding windows on there so you can allow the bloody air to ventilate. It'd just get too hot in there up here in Northern Australia. Your fridge would just be cycling non-stop in those canopies. You've got to have some ventilation in them.
What with the XTS trays? As we move around the back here, you've got your fully enclosed jerry can holder, which is multi-purpose. Now, it's not just for diesel. You can carry extra water with you. You can put firewood in there. Or if you're going up the freezer, even use as a bin bag. Keep it up away from the dingoes. Underneath here, we have our trundle drawer. Now, this looks hot. We don't have the big ugly handles on there, which look very agricultural in my opinion. It's concealed right here under your number plate. Now, when you open this up, it is massive. Now, this is 1.7 metres deep. He's optioned.
If you're a firearms owner in Australia, you're legally allowed to carry your firearm in that drawer because it's lockable. You have your ammo, you'd have your ammo in your glove box or whatever. But you could legally transport your firearms in that drawer and at night, lock it in there so it's bloody secure.
With the trundle drawer here, so you've got, not only have you got an enormous amount of storage, but if you're on uneven terrain, you generally have it roll in on you. We've fixed that by putting a little trigger lock in position. Now we can lock it out and I can actually put my Weber Q on here and cook without fear of this getting moved if someone bumps into it or if the surface isn't completely level. So disengage that, we just pull it, roll it in a bit, we're good to go. So to stop this number plate chattering as you're driving along, that's actually on a magnet, so it's nice and firm. Now, all the amazing features that this Canon came with your safety features like your blind spot monitoring, your rear parking sensors, your rear camera, we're still utilising all that, and we've done that with the proper relocation kits. So it looks neat, it looks tidy, and you've got all those safety features that the manufacturer meant the vehicle to come with. Now, he's moved this spare from underneath and put that up on the back, which is a great idea. I'm not sure if you follow us, but a few weeks ago, we're full driving out at Glasshouse. I had my spare underneath and I lost it. It fell straight down. So it is now the same as this, mounted on the back of the canopy. So over this side, once again, we've got a nice big under tray drawer. And where I mentioned about the water tank the other side, the filler's over here, here's your tap. And we actually recess that back so you don't have to worry about knocking it off as you're driving along. Nice and easy, you can clip a hose on there. Now, the canopy, he put a 1600. The benefit of that is, as you see, he's got his spare and everything on the back. It doesn't overhang his tow bar too much. So if you do any towing, you're not going to foul your turning circle. Great feature that pretty much everyone's adding these days is central locking. The push of a button at the shop, we actually wire this in to your car. So it's quite simple. If your car's locked, your canopy's locked, giving you
how good's that?
Peace of mind. You don't have to worry about that you've left it unlocked if you've gone to the shops and someone's going to get into it. Press the button, we're right to go. In here, we've got the uni strut. As you can see, you've got 3 openings. Drop a
So you got the King's battery box in the back.
hang nut, slide along and bolt it. So with our dividers, our partitions, our pantries, our drawers, our hanging shelves, they're all made to integrate with this fixed.
Let's go back to here. That was more about the canopy than the vehicle. Sorry, guys, I didn't watch that one before I'll remove that. Stop screen. And go down there. So anyway, that's not a bad looking bloody BYD, GWM Canon Alpha. If you've got the money, you can certainly do them up to look as good as a Hilux or a Ranger and all that type of stuff. So it's good to know that there are companies here in Australia that can still do all the modifications to these Chinese vehicles. And the longer they're around, everyone, the more companies are going to get on board, the more accessories we'll have to put on them and all that type of stuff. As I said, I'm talking about in the future now. So anyway, Legacy, Brad Howell. Legacy, we might get you on for a chat soon, Brad. Legacy car companies are in real trouble all over the world. They are so far behind, it's not funny. I know, mate. And that's why you speak to John Cadogan. Someone said to me the other day, put a comment on and said, John Cadogan, everyone, who I think we all know, he's been over to China and went through the GWM and the LDV factory, and he was blown away at how sophisticated and how the Chinese are unbelievable at manufacturing now. Like, we've got to get out of our head, it's Chinese shit. They've got it all over us, everyone. You see the standard of the vehicles coming out now. 10 years ago, if someone said, you want a Great Wall vehicle, you wouldn't touch it with a barge pole. Have a look at it. Have a look how far they've come in 10 years. Imagine another 5 or 10 years from now, how good it's going to be. Have a look at the technology that you get in these Chinese vehicles for the money. The BYD Shark, under $60,000. Have a look at the technology in that in there. It's unbelievable. So anyway, yeah, they're leaving us for dead. They're leaving us for dead, everyone. And there you see the Japanese, Nissan. Nissan are getting on board with the Chinese now, with Dongfeng. I think even the Japanese are starting to think, the Chinese, we need to get in with them here or we're going to get left behind. It's like get on board or get left behind is the old saying now. I know a lot of us don't like to admit that the Chinese are leaving us for dead, everyone, but they are. They are. You only have to walk in a King store and have a look at all the camping gear that the Chinese make. What camping gear do we make in Australia anymore? What camping gear do we make here in Australia? I don't think we even make a bloody camping chair anymore, do we? And I still get comments, Chinese shit. Well, mate, show me the equivalent Australian-made one. Yeah, there's not even such a thing. Yeah, so anyway. Wish John would just talk normally. I want to watch but can't stand him. Yeah, I know. Chris, I said that the other day, mate. John Cadogan, very, very knowledgeable man. but he tries to be too, when he just talks serious and talks about what he's talking about, very, very good. Very nice. I learn a lot off him. But he's always trying to be, I don't know, he just tries to be too funny. And half his clips are him trying to be funny, and then the other half is what you want to hear. Anyway, he's got a good following. He is an engineer. He knows what he's talking about. But even he did a thing on the Canon Alpha PHEV, and he did 10 things I don't like about it and 10 things he does like about it. I think he's even sold on them. I think John Cadogan even realises that, yeah, we're getting left behind. We really are getting left behind. So anyway, what I want to do now, everyone, is me trying to do videos and all that. I need Rob the Wanderer here, everyone. He's bloody good at all that shit. I'm a bloody hopeless at it. But anyway, if there's anyone who owns an electric vehicle or a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle, please click on that link and come in and have a chat. I'm really interested in hearing what you've got to say. That person who had a BYD Shark before, if you've got a BYD Shark or a GWM Canon Alpha or a bloody plug-in Ford Ranger, everyone, come on and just click on that link and it'll do the rest and we'll have a chat with you. And no one's going to bloody have a go at you for owning an electric vehicle or anything. We just want to hear what you think of it, the good points and the bad points. And if no one wants to come on and talk to me, we might get Bradley Howell in, because Brad can gibber. He's a mechanic by trade, and Brad knows what he's talking about as well. Brad, if you want to come on, if you're not bloody got Mary out at breakfast time. Sorry, Mary, I can't order breakfast. I've got to go on live with Buck, and then next thing, Brad's knocked out cold on the floor of a cafe. So what's Gary? Chinese, not just the tech on cars, Buck. An Aussie guy went over to one of their state-of-the-art dentists, unbelievable technology, and more than half the price they charge here in Australia. Yeah, I know people that went to Thailand to get their teeth done, and they said that work was incredible, and it was a third of the price of what we pay here. One of my bosses in corrections went over, and she got all her teeth, and she come back, and all her teeth were beautiful and white and like beautiful dental work. And she goes, she said, I went to Thailand with my husband, got my teeth all done, had a beautiful holiday, stayed in a 5-star resort and everything, and flew over and flew back. And it was still cheaper to do that than get my teeth done here in Australia. There you go. We're not even talking about camping and four-wheel driving now. We're talking medical. And you probably all know someone who's been overseas to get medical work done. Ken, when Ken's heart went into AF, everyone, he was on holidays in Thailand with Nongi. And he ended up in hospital. And he said, the work I got in that hospital at Thailand was next level. He said, I could not fault it. He said they were incredible. Clean, just unbelievable. We're getting left for dead, everyone. We're getting left for dead. And we've got to bloody tap into their knowledge. We're sitting here at the moment talking about China, talking about Chinese, talking about going to war with them and all this shit. Like, we need to stop talking like that. We need to get on board with them and bloody make our country better and learn off them. I think we still got this Westerner mentality that we're better than everyone else. Well, guess what? We're not. We're not. We've got to. Well, I reckon we have got that. I reckon we've got a superiority complex. White Westerners and that we're better than everyone. We're better than Asians and we're better than that. I used to think like that when I was younger, I must admit. I don't anymore. I've opened my eyes up a bit, everyone. I really have. I've opened my eyes up and we're getting left behind. Yeah. Swipe. Black has said, swipe left and talk with Butt. Yeah. Frank, I've seen clip on Dennis in China. That outfit was first class. 6,000 US. Would have paid 50,000 or more in Oz. Well, there you go. Frank Aussie's all over. I don't go looking for all that type of stuff on YouTube, but I have no doubt about it. It's pretty sad when you've got to go overseas to get dental work and medical work done because it's cheaper and better than what you get here. It's pretty sad, isn't it? It really is. Yeah. Yeah, true. True, Chris. Yeah, I agree, mate. I agree. We're our own worst enemies, but aren't we, mate? We're our own worst enemies. Being bloody, we want bloody bigger pay rises and all this, and it's just we've gone to shit. Anyway, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole today, everyone. I'm trying to get away from that type of stuff and just talk about camping, four-wheel drive, talk about positive shit. It's hard not to get dragged down that rabbit hole. Chris Anderson, stop dragging me down rabbit holes. It's your fault. Nick Taylor, try having a Land Rover. Well, we'll ask Landy all about that. Land Rovers would test your character. Our Army Land Rovers, guys, they were in the workshops more than they were on the road. They were pieces of shit at the end of the day. They were tough old things. Jesus, they're always bloody in the workshops, but the Land Rovers, especially old Series 3. I don't know how many times I broke down on the way to Cape York and back in an old petrol Series 3 Land Rover, and it rattled the fillings out of my teeth. This is back in 1986. There was no bitumen whatsoever as soon as you got north of Cairns back in the 80s, and it was rough as guts. And the old petrol Series 3, mind you, I got her across the Jardine River, but strapped the hoochie across the front, take the diff breathers up, and I got across the Jardine, everyone. No bloody, I don't think it was a ferry back then. We drove across, and I got her across. All the other Land Rovers got stuck, and the Unimogs had to scull drag them through. Yeah. So there you go. But anyway, one thing I looked up the other day, someone's coming in. Bradley Howe. Morning, Bradley.
G'day, mate. How you going?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. Thanks for coming on. We'll have a chat in a minute. Range owner's not alone. So I was talking the other day, Brad, about Ken's got the Herod tune on the Raptor, mate, and it makes 800 and something Newton meters of torque. I Googled the other day. The other thing I wanted to talk about is the new Ford Ranger Super Duties. And there's a lot of people out there that are just saying when they're towing, they just underpowered. They've detuned them from the standard Ranger. They're 30 kilowatts down. And everyone's just saying that they just need more get up and go. And there's people out there starting to tune them up already. What's that do, Brad? As soon as you start mucking around with a new vehicle with tunes, you're going to blow your warranty if something goes wrong. Ford are going to wipe you, aren't they?
Mate, the manufacturers will use any excuse to knock a warranty claim back. John Cadogan had a video just recently about some poor bugger that had put a snorkel on his, I think it was a Navara from memory, and something happened to the engine, and they then blamed the snorkel for the engine failure, which had absolutely nothing to do with the failure, but they said because he modified it. So Cadogan got involved in it, wrote letters to Nissan. I think it was Nissan. I could be wrong about that. And they ended up saying, oh, look, sorry, folks, that was our dealer. That's not how this company wants to do it. And they ended up putting a new engine in it for him. So, they're just, completely adversarial to anyone, even touching their vehicles, like imagine a situation, and I'm being a little bit flippant, but I don't think it's too far from the truth in that, because you put a different air filter in your vehicle, that's the reason why the right-hand rear wheel bearing failed. Just stupid stuff like that.
But it's up to you to try and prove to them that it. You know what I mean? You've got to go through the rigmarole. I get why car companies go, we designed the car like this. Don't stuff with it. We just know, and that's why I got the BT50 tune, mate. I would never have done that while it was under warranty. It's tuned now. John's got it, mate. We do get the F-150 here, John. You can buy the Ford F-150 here in Australia, but it's well over 100,000. Brad, what are they, about 120, 130 for an F-150?
Oh, I think they're more than that, mate. I think they're sort of up around the 150 mark.
Okay, so we do, John. You can get the Ranger Raptor, which is what Gidgey's got. We do also get the the F-150, which I think have got a diesel engine in them, Brad, have they, F-150s?
No, I think they're petrol, mate.
Are they?
I think they're the EcoBoost engine from memory. I could be wrong about that.
Yeah, no, mate. John, we do get them, mate. You can get an F-150. You can probably get an F-250 if you really want to do. But they are. You go to a Ford dealership here in Australia. We got one. There's an F-150 sitting down here in Innisfail, mate, on the showroom floor. So yeah, you can buy them, mate. Yeah. Brad, thoughts on what we've talked about this morning on plug-in electric hybrid vehicles? Now, there's one coming out, a Tank 700. They're going to bring the Tank 300, which is bloody capable off-road. I think I've still got a video on a standard Tank 300 going up Beeraclock Hill, and it made it look like it was a piece of cake. The Tank 500 I got in the other day, and, mate, the interior of those things is next level. They're thinking about bringing the Tank 700, the next big one in. The Tank 700, everyone, plug-in electric hybrid vehicle. It's not a ute. It's a station wagon, like a 300 series Land Cruiser. Have a listen to this. They're going to throw a 4-litre twin-turbo V8 in it. It's also going to be plug-in electric with the 37.1 kilowatt hour battery, which is like the equivalent of over 300 amp hours in the back of it. It's going to have 600 kilowatts under the bonnet and 1,000 Newton meters of torque. That is insane power. That's the Tank 700, and it's coming out to Australia apparently with a twin turbo 4-litre V8. So this is where they're going to go. You can't tow with a little 1.5-litre petrol engine. Like, it doesn't cut the mustard. So they're starting to throw Cherry, are throwing a 2.5-litre turbo diesel in, which I think that Cherry, and the Tank 700, mate, 1,000 Newton meters of torque when that comes out. Look out, Land Cruiser. Unbelievable. What are your thoughts on these plug-in electrics, mate?
Oh, look, I think, that they'll definitely have their place. I agree with what a lot of people said earlier today in the chat that, I don't think they're quite there yet. But, rapidly, if you've got a little runaround car in Sydney or Melbourne or Brisbane or somewhere like that, one of the big major centres, even Newcastle, Australia's largest non-capital city is Newcastle. But if you live in sort of like an apartment building and you've got charging infrastructure there that you can charge your little electric car up, and you're not embarking on a Sydney to Brisbane trip every couple of months or twice a year or whatever, knock yourself out. I think they've got their place, but I think as long as people sort of understand that they've got limitations, and everything's got its limitations, and just getting back to that whole thing that you talked about there with the Chinese and these new engines and that are coming out, we used to sort of have an idea that if you went with the what I call the legacy car brands, the Nissans, the Mitsubishis, the Fords, the Holdens, the Volkswagens, the Audis, or like BMW, Mercedes-Benz, if you went with them, you were generally pretty safe. But I'll tell you what I've seen in my career is that you can't even trust them, because they make some woeful decisions. They bring some terrible engines out. They talk all the time about, we've had this vehicle in testing for the last 2 years and we've done this and we've done that. I remember when I was working for Ford when I was an apprentice, some of the cars, even before we could actually put them on the lot, like they'd come in on the transporter, brand new, they'd have a full scap and a half page list of modifications and rectifications that had to be done. Water leaks around tail lights. The VM Commodore, when it first came out, used to leak water in through the rear window, like the rear, like not the like the windscreen, if you want to call it the rear windscreen, like it was flooding in when it rained or you washed it. How do they produce these cars these days with all of these like faults that they knew that they had faults from the last one and the previous model before that? Why did they not fix those things? I mean, if they were a legitimate what do you call it, industry, when I say legitimate, I mean interested in what they were producing, they would learn from all of that. And they've been building cars for how long now? 100 years?
Yeah.
Let's call it 50 years. How long does it take to get these things right? You know, but they still keep building them to a budget, you know, and they want more and more because they're producing crap products, and which are forcing people to the other competition, like the Chinese, for instance. And I said a long time ago that, you know, the Chinese are doing now to the Japanese and the legacy brands what the Koreans did to the Japs back in the 90s and the 2000s.
Yeah,
you know, producing high quality, although the Korean cars weren't high quality back then, but same as what the Chinese were. You know, no different. But now they're significantly better.
When we were still building cars here in Australia, I've owned bloody Australian-made cars, mate. Cortinas and XE Falcons and EA Falcons made here in Australia. The EA was a piece of shit.
Oh.
Then the Japanese cars come on the market. It was Jap crap. And then I had so many problems with the EA Falcon, I bought a Mitsubishi Magna, one of the new shapes. And I'll tell you what, when I went into that from the EA Falcon, it was unbelievable, mate. I thought, what a beautiful car this is compared to the old Falcon, the Aussie-made Falcon. Don't get me wrong, I still like the old EA, the XE Falcon, but Jap crap. Then the Japanese now, like you buy Japanese stuff now, you know it's going to be good quality. Koreans came on the scene. Kia and Hyundai back in the early days wouldn't touch them with a barge pole. Now Korean made, unbelievable. They're building bloody submarines and that. Now the Chinese wouldn't touch Chinese shit with a barge pole. Have a look at them, mate. They're just leaving us for dead. And there was a good comment here, Frank Aussie saying, Albo wants to kick the car industry off here again. Well, one, good on him for even thinking about that, like kicking the car industry off. But we all know, Brad, it's not going to be viable now, mate. We can't compete. How are we going to make a dual cab ute to compete with that Cherry that's coming out for under $60,000? How are we going to compete with that? Who's going to pay $100,000 for an Aussie-made ute that's got wind-up windows? Because that's what you'll get if you get an Australian-made one for the price.
Yeah,
not going to happen.
Well, I don't think they will. I think what they'll do instead is they'll do a Donald Trump and they'll tariff everybody else into oblivion just to make the Australian cars seem cheaper, or they'll give them so many government subsidies like they gave to Ford, like they gave to Holden, to produce cars here. Which how did that end up? You know, when GM left, which they were the last ones to leave, when they left, they took hundreds of millions of dollars of Australian taxpayers' money back to Detroit. Yeah. You know, just ridiculous.
And that's Rob's here to think. Holden went bust, didn't want to sacrifice, didn't want to, mate, and that's right. People look at what they get for the money. You're going to pay $100,000, or when you can get something for $60,000, that's just as good. Like, and that's money talks. That's why people shop at Kings now. Not everyone can afford Darcy and 23-0 and all these big camping brands and whatever. You go to Kings, mate. The average Joe can afford the stuff, and we're going the same way with vehicles. You can go and pay $50,000 for a BYD Shark if you don't want to take it off road and tow with it. If you want something to carry stuff in the back, whiz around, do trips down the highway and all that, and you can pay under $60,000 for a BYD Shark that gets up and goes, and it's got all the mod cons and the technology in there, the touch screens and everything. Yeah. People are going to bloody do it, and that's why they're doing so well. And it's not you're paying $50,000 for a piece of shit. You're paying $50,000 or $60,000 for a bloody decent sort of vehicle now, Brad.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And you've proven that. I mean, you did that Yeti versus the Kings Chilibun a few months ago, and the Esky was what, $50, and the Yeti was, I don't know, 500 or something for
400 compared to $70, and they did the same exact thing.
Yeah, Yeah, so these mobs are relying on their brand and they're relying on their reputation, but their reputation is only there because you've got these influencers out there that are saying, they're being paid for pushing this content. And that's why I made the comment there earlier, and a couple of people, the same on the chat, was that, a lot of these guys, you can't really trust what you see anymore and what you hear. You've got to actually do a little bit of research. And I like that. I like Car Expert. I like Paul Marrick, and I like Johnny Cadogan. Wholeheartedly agree with you about John Cadogan. He turns a 5-7 minute video into a 45-minute epic because he just runs off on tangents here and there. And
like someone else I know.
Yeah, I was just about to say I know someone like that. A simple generator. Over a 6-part series.
Yeah, only I could do that. And when you get back, you think, how did I friggin' make that video just go for 45 minutes when it should have gone for 17? Like, unbelievable. Yeah, John tries to be funny and all that. And he's a unique character, but he's a bloody smart cookie too. He knows very, very good. Yeah.
And I've seen a couple of videos where they've done a sort of a collab each, like he's been on his, John's been on Paul's site and Paul's been on John's site. And because they're engineers, they talk from a very technical perspective. And I like that, being a little bit of a techie sort of person. But one thing that I did notice, and Rob actually made the comment, and it wasn't until he actually made the comment, like Wanderer Rob, that if you do a little bit of a deep dive back into Car Expert, it's partly owned by a bloke that owns a company that's on a massive big push to get EVs into Australia. And that clicked for me, because I thought, why is it that Paul Marrick lately has been traveling to China, and he was sponsored, and he said he was sponsored, I think, by Chery at the time. He went to the big, I think it was Beijing Motor Show or something like that. Yeah. He went over there and did this, 2-part series on these vehicles. And don't get me wrong, it was really cool to watch, to see what's coming out and whatnot. But he seems to be focused on these EVs lately. And it wasn't until Rob actually made that comment that I went, aha, that explains it. So even some of these big guys that have got reputations of being fair and balanced and all of that sort of stuff, even those guys now, you've got to start to think of their motivation and start to think, well, what's going on in the background that we don't know about? Why are they pushing this stuff? The same as, well, we expect that from politicians, let's face it. The line scumbags they are. We expect that from them. We don't expect anything better. But I think when if you don't declare as an influencer, if you don't declare this stuff, then you quickly get relegated to the back blocks, and you're always upfront about, hey, look, guys, I was sent these Li-Time batteries, but I bought this one on my own, and whatever, like that's fine, as long as people know and as long as people are upfront about it. But yeah, it just worries me about some of these influencer people that, like that guy earlier who was running a clothes dryer off the back of his ute, that was a bit silly. That was a piss.
I think that was a piss take. He was just showing, you wouldn't take a clothes dryer out in the thing. I think he was just showing that, hey, you can run big full size appliances off the back of these bloody plug-in electric vehicles. But can you imagine? Having and the big thing with the Canon Alpha, Brad, they don't have plugs in the back of the tub. You actually have to plug in a power board to the side of the vehicle. So if you wanted to run an upright fridge in the back of a Canon Alpha, you'd have to have an auto elect run the plugs into the back of the tub. But imagine how long you could run an 85-litre Bushman's or a King's upright fridge off one of those batteries. What do I say? Between 2,500 and it's like having a 3,000 amp hour battery in the back of your vehicle. We think, I've got 120 amps in the back of the BT50 running my fridge. Imagine how long the King's fridge would run off a 2.5 or a 3,000 amp hour battery, which is what they equate to if you convert it to 12 volts. So they're big batteries. They're big batteries. They're designed to run the vehicle, not run fridges and that. But you can run shit on them. Go out camping, like Rob the Wanderer. Rob doesn't tow. Rob the Wanderer's got a bloody Ranger, and he's got a battery system in the back. What's he got? A 300 amp hour kick-ass battery in the back of it now, and he's got an inverter, 2,000 watt inverter or whatever it is, or 3,000, whatever. So he can run electrical items, 240 volt items out there. You don't even have to worry about that now. You can take your 240 volt stuff out camping, your frying pans, your air fryers and all this stuff, and just run that shit when you're out camping now, like you're at home. Like you can see where we're going with this. It's a game changer, I think. And the longer we wait, the better all this stuff's going to get, Brad.
Oh, look, absolutely. You know, like we talked about that before in that, you know, I actually made the comment that, you know, Australians are known to be the early adopters of technology. We were with internet. Yeah, we were with mobile phones. I think at one stage when mobile phones first came out, we had the highest per capita ownership of mobile phones in the world. You know, and we're by no means the instigator of that technology, but we are the adopters of that technology. We love that sort of stuff as a people, I think, you know, and I don't understand where that comes from. It might be just a cultural thing because we're an island continent. We're isolated from the rest of the world pretty much, and you know, we love that sort of stuff. But we are in the early stages of technology. You know, it might have been around for 5 years, but it's still early days yet.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Imagine if you know, everyone bought an EV tomorrow, the electricity grid would collapse, especially with the way that they're closing, you know, coal-fired power station, gas-fired power stations, whatever, and they're relying on renewables. The place would collapse. I mean, I'd be right here. I've got, you know, 17.5 kilowatts on the roof, a 15 kilowatt hour battery out there to run the house at night time. Cost me just under 15 grand and is working spectacularly well. My highest power bill has been $40 since I put it on in August last year. But if I had an electric vehicle, obviously I'd just plug it in, you know, to the power point and I'd have it charging like my neighbor next door used to when he was living here. He had a BYD. But I think, you know, everything else has to sort of evolve with it as well. You know, and if you were a serious four-wheel driver, I don't think anyone would be silly enough to take a full EV out four-wheel driving, because you could imagine having your air fryer and your fridge and everything plugged into your electric car, and then you go to drive off the next morning and you're down on, you know, 10%, and you've got to tow your trailer and everything, you know, for 150 Ks. It just wouldn't work.
The good thing about the PHEVs, mate, the plug-ins, they've got an engine still under them, like the Canon Alpha and that. You've still got an engine with no power and that. I'm not convinced with full EV vehicles. I think they belong in the big cities.
Yeah.
As far as towing, camping, and all that, you've still got to have either a petrol or diesel engine under there. That's why I'm excited about this Cherry Ute, mate. I reckon that could be a good thing when it comes out. Justin Dillon, yeah, they are. They're a lot heavier because of the lithium battery, mate. There's no doubt about it. They are a heavy vehicle. Yeah, they are. The Canon Alpha, and that's heavier than what a Ranger is, for sure. Yeah.
There was a video I was watching. Yeah, sorry, go on.
Yeah, there is a lot. What you'll find at Lynn, when they bring out a new item, whether it's a car or a bloody Blue Eddy power station or whatever, Blue Eddy bought out that little one I've got's the Elite 100 version 2 V2. When they were bringing that out in Australia, they targeted YouTubers that are into camping, and like I was one of them, to promote their product. And that's how it works, Lynn. And you'll see the YouTube get bombarded when they're bringing new items out. And I got offered that Blue Eddy, and I thought, you know what, I had the big Jackery, and the Jackery is too big for camping, mate. Too big to lug around camping. This thing's half the size, half the capacity, but better for camping and whatever. And I thought, you know what, I could go one of these things. And there's a time where you've got to go, oh, what? It's bloody $1,000 worth of gear, and they're giving it to me for nothing just to trial it out on YouTube and that, which I've done for them. Yeah, so that's there is some advantages of getting out and doing but there are YouTubers out there too, Lynn, that just take everything that's given to them for free, and they're the one you got to pick and choose. You got to pick and choose. There's YouTubers out there that just will promote anything that's given to them for free. I'm a bit fussy with. I must knock back, Brad, 6 emails a week, between 6 and 10 emails a week of companies saying we want you to promote this work. I just go delete. Every now and then you'll go, you know what? I've been eyeing these things off. I wouldn't mind trying it. And the Blue Eddy was one of the things that I did that. Yeah. Just so you know, Rob, the Canon Alphas come with a 7-year warranty, and the batteries have an 8-year warranty. What is the cost of replacing a battery in an EV, Bradley? I can't imagine it would be cheap. It's probably almost, I don't know, it'd be at least half the cost of the vehicle, wouldn't it?
Well, that's a good point, because I was watching a video only just recently about batteries and all that sort of stuff, and I sort of start to very quickly bring that into engines. You know, like if you had a Volkswagen Golf with a 1.4 litre, I think it was the TSI version of the engine, they would barely get to 100,000 K without requiring several $1,000s being spent on the timing chain to be replaced. So once again, we get back to that whole legacy car issue where we've got, you know, these manufacturers that have been making vehicles for a long time are still producing crap, you know, and is it likely that an EV battery is likely to fail ahead of a 1.4 litre TSI engine in a Volkswagen before time? Probably not. And with good warranties, you know, you'd have to start to think that you're going to be pretty okay, you know.
Yeah, 8-year warranty. I'd looked that up. 8-year warranty on the batteries in the Canon Alphas. So between 10 and 20,000, John said. Yeah, I know, but look at Timmy Bates. Timmy Bates is up for a new engine in his Nissan Patrol, the old ZD30, the mighty ZD30 that he keeps banging on about. She's been rebuilt 3 times. And we're talking about companies that try and take a cheap, nasty option out. When they threw that 3-litre engine in the Nissan Patrol, I was the first one with no mechanical knowledge going, what are they thinking? Putting a 3-litre, 4-cylinder diesel banger in a bloody 4-wheel drive that size. And have a look what happened. The old 3 litres. I think Tim's about to throw an LS3 bloody V8 in her, isn't he? I reckon that's what he'll do. But
you know, it'd be interesting to see the reasons why that engine failed, and I'd nearly guarantee it's the same reason that all of them failed, is that they'll burn holes through number 4 piston. And because what happens is the design of the engine was bad, and what they did is they dumped all of the EGR in on number 4. And so basically what would happen is they'd clog up the manifold to the point where they couldn't get enough air into that cylinder, and they were still injecting the same amount of fuel. And as we know, in a diesel engine, they work on an excess air environment, more fuel, more heat, blow holes in the tops of the pistons. We used to actually refer to those engines as hand grenades, because the minute you bought that vehicle, you pulled the pin on the hand grenade and you were just sort of waiting for it to go off. You know, it wasn't a case of if, it's just pretty much a case of when.
That's why my son got rid of his GU Patrol, mate, because he didn't trust that engine. Chrissy Anderson, I just paid $4,500 for a torque converter for my Ranger. Well, there you go. We go on about banging on about replacing batteries. I just paid $6,000 for a new gearbox in my BT50, everyone. Chrissy's just paid $4,500 for a torque converter. So shit goes wrong with vehicles. And I'll tell you now, my BT50, it had a 3-year warranty when we got it. It just was coming out of warranty when we bought it. I just pay, as I said, $6,000 for a new gearbox there. So it's not just EVs where people are going, oh, what about a new battery and all that? Have a look at the cost of shit that goes wrong with diesel engines too. If you start doing bloody glow plugs and injectors and all that, diesel engines, when things start going wrong with diesel engines, Brad, you know better than anyone, you're up for big money, mate.
Huge money, you know, and that's where you need the backup of the warranty. If it's still in warranty,
Well, back in my day, most diesels back in the day, you used to only get a 3-year warranty. And then it was like, oh, a Ford only went to a 5-year warranty because the Asians started doing it. The bloody Koreans and the Japanese started it. Have a look at Mitsubishi Tritons now, mate. 10-year warranty on a Triton. Mate, you can't beat that. 10-year warranty on a diesel Triton.
As long as you get it through the dealer, Well, my Ram has just come out of warranty. It had a 3-year warranty on it and 100,000 Ks. It's not even clocked 21,000 Ks yet. Now, that's my fault that I don't drive it a lot because I don't need to. But, you know, 3 years.
You're saying Mary's got you under the thumb and she's not allowing you to drive it as
No,
much
it's
as
too much time on Grinder chat things.
Yeah, we won't go there.
I was just going to say too. I was watching a video the other week, and I don't even know how it came up on YouTube. And it was, you know, Sylvia Jeffries from the Nine Network. Her hubby is married to the other Stefanovic fella. That's
Pete Stefanovic. Yeah,
Pete Stefanovic, right? And they were talking to the guy that actually leads the drive.com.au, because I think that is a subsidiary of the Nine Network, like the Nine owned companies, Drive. And the guy with the grey beard, you see him in ads sometimes. Anyway, they were talking about the last school holidays, they were going to take the kids up to Foster or somewhere like Port Macquarie or somewhere. And it was just the start of the fuel shortage issue.
Yeah.
And they said, and she said, oh, look, we really seriously considered buying an EV. And he said, well, just be careful. Make sure you do your research. See you, Nathan. Do your research, because the other thing you've got to consider is insurance, because the insurance on these EVs apparently is massive, because if you have an accident in them, the insurance company will now seriously consider writing it off, even a small accident, because they don't know if the batteries have been damaged.
Yes.
So even a small fender bender can risk the vehicle being written off. So now they're starting to work that write-off scenario into the insurance premium, because it's all about risk.
Well, there you go. I never thought about that. Yeah.
That's what he said. So he said, make sure that you get online and you have a look and see what it's going to cost to insure that vehicle for a year, because you'll be surprised. It could be well over $1,000 more than you're paying now. So if you think you're going to get the advantage of $1,000 less on fuel or electricity or whatever, have a think about the other thing. And of course, you've got extra in brakes, because unless you've got, you know, a fairly good regen system, you're going to be higher brake wear. Tires, certainly, because the vehicles are heavier, and I think someone made that comment earlier. They're significantly heavier.
EVs will go through tyres more than a normal vehicle because of their weight. That's a well-known fact, mate.
And they're a special tyre too.
People need to be aware of it, and that's a very good point, mate, is before you pull the trigger on an EV or a PHEV, everyone, just ring up your insurance company and just check what it's going to cost to insure these bloody things. Because as Brad said, it could be $1,000 extra than buying a diesel and all that. As I said, I'm not sold on these yet. I think we've got a long way to go, especially for towing. And I've watched a lot of this stuff in the last couple of weeks, and the general consensus from a lot of them is that these PHEVs are bloody good, but they're not there yet for towing. They're not there yet. But when we see companies like Cherry and that are starting to probably sitting back, didn't rush in, sitting back and going, all right, the petrols are having a problem. When we run out of electricity, the petrols they're towing, but they're getting up into close to 30 a litre, which isn't good enough. Let's bang a bloody turbo diesel back in there and whatever. So anyway, it's yeah.
You mentioned there before about the lithium runoff.
Justin's speaking from a fire. He's been Justin's got a few bloody traffic accidents with lithium batteries and EVs. Now I'm sure he's trained right up on that, Justin. And taught to let them burn off. There was nothing combustible around because they're unable to extinguish. There you go, mate. There you go.
I went to a job out here on the Hunter Expressway a few months ago, and we took our there were actually about 4 Cat 1s out there. So they hold 3,000 litres each. So there's 12,000 litres. We took our Cat 1 and our Cat 6 out there. So the Cat 6 holds about 9,000 litres. It's a bulk water tanker. And they estimated that we put 70,000 litres of water on a Tesla that we suspect someone had set fire to on the side of the road when it broke down.
Yeah.
They estimated 70,000. And Justin's absolutely right. There's little you can do, because when they go into thermal runaway, they produce their own oxygen. So you got virtually no chance of putting them out, because it's being fed by its own process. Because we get back down to that old fire triangle thing about, you remove one of the sides, heat, fuel, oxygen, and you just can't break it down because you can't get enough heat out of them because the degradation in the cell is exceeding the amount of temperature you can take out. You can't take the fuel away because that's coming from internal, and you can't take the oxygen away for the same reason.
Yeah.
So, just let them burn out, like safety-wise as well.
Yeah. Electric scooters, Rob, there and push bikes, they don't have the LiFePO 4 type. They've got lithium in them, but it's not the LiFePO 4 lithium iron phosphate, which is the more stable chemistry in that. And, John, just on that, like Brad's got an American vehicle. You only got 3 years ago, Brad. It come with a 3-year warranty, as opposed to the Japanese 10-year warranties, 7 years. All the Korean vehicles, Kia and Hyundai, all come with 7 years now. Like 5 is the minimum you'll get anyway. Even Ford give 5 years now. They had to keep up with the Joneses. It used to be 3, and here we are with American imports still only offering 3-year warranties, mate. So, and that's big peace of mind, mate. Cherry, I don't know what cherries are, but Paul Marrick just said Cherry offer very good warranty in Australia. And that's what you've got to look at, mate. If you're a little bit skeptical, going, I'm not quite sure, but hey, it's got a friggin' 8 or a 10-year warranty. If something goes wrong, I'll throw it back to them and they can fix it. So that warranty is a big thing, having a good warranty.
Yeah, exactly. And you talked there before about the Super Duty as well. I don't know whether you've seen it. Yes, mate. Yeah, just ran out 2 weeks ago. So I've had that 3 years as of 2 or 3 weeks ago.
It's not good enough 3 years now in these days, Brad. 3 years isn't good enough.
It's not. It's ridiculous. And look, that's probably because they go through that remanufacture process, which I defy anyone to spot the change. I really do. I mean, I've looked over it from top to bottom, and I cannot see where they change these things. No, it's not worth it. Just you can't just walk away from it. It's going to take. I'll tell you what. Someone made the comment. It might have been Chrissy Anderson there before about the Tesla that started to smoke inside the cab, and then the doors locked, and they couldn't get out. They had to smash their way out. Imagine, and as Chris said, imagine if that was an elderly person that now has to climb out through the window. Forget it. Imagine you've got kids in the back seat in car seats and you're trying to get them out. I don't know whether you've seen these things go up, but when they start, they go from nothing to 100 in seconds. It's frightening. It really is, because the thermal runaway just goes, literally almost like an explosion. Not literally, but
that's why they brought it out in caravans now, that the batteries have to be external to the living thing now and vented externally. Because I'm an old caravan, my 2 lithium batteries are under the lounge chair, mate, and I've got to get past them to get out of the van if they ever go up. That's always in the back of my mind, it's that's right, Chris. Mitsubishi 10-year warranty. It's amazing, mate. And the new Triton, that's not a bad looking vehicle for the price. 10-year warranty. You can't go wrong. The only thing wrong is the friggin' price of diesel is bullshit. And what do you reckon, Brad? I said it earlier on. You reckon that it's the government trying to price us, trying to get us away from diesels, which is why diesel's 30 cents a litre more than what petrol is?
Well, diesel, as you know, is a dirty technology, and that's the reason why the Super Duty has to run AdBlue, because of the new emissions regulations. So, there's a couple of. I think there's a couple of things that will, you can look at to see where we're going, and it'll be the case of they will just keep increasing the emissions requirements of these vehicles that will end up having to drive people to buying an alternative, i.e. an EV or a hybrid or something like that. You can already see it with the extra tax that they put on these 4-wheel drives, which is, I think, the Albanese government did earlier this year or last year or whatever, to basically try and push. And they were unashamedly saying that because of their Greens connections and all that sort of stuff. And all they'll do then is they'll then say, okay, we're going to now make diesel however much more expensive, or even petrol the same thing. So then people start to look for alternatives exactly the same as what they did during the fuel crisis just recently, where we saw diesel at $3 a litre. You know, I mean, that was crazy. That was market driven, absolutely market driven, and they couldn't help that. But they could certainly do that from a government perspective. And what choice have we have other than getting rid of them at the next election? That's the only thing we can do. And are the others any better than what we've got currently? You know, we've already seen, you know, like Angus Taylor, you know, still talking about net zero and all this sort of crap. I don't know, but there's a lot of mechanisms that they can use to drive us in a particular way, because of their political ideology. That's what they'll do, and they've done it before, and they'll do it again. Absolutely, they will.
Yeah. Oh, makes you wonder, eh? But what's going to happen, mate? I'll have the BT50 all going well. I've got the new gearbox in it now. I'm just hoping nothing major happens to it. I've got to try and keep that for a lot longer yet. Someone said, "Fuck, are you thinking about buying a new ute?" I said, "No, I don't have the money for that." Anyone? So, hey, if anyone's thinking of pulling the trigger, or does anyone own? We've had someone in there that had a Shark 6 before. I forget the name of the channel now, but they seem to be really, really happy. I've had a few comments. Someone down in Tasmania has got a fleet of BYD Sharks. They don't take them off road. They're just for driving around and delivering stores and all that, and very, very happy with them. So they do have a place, these new plug-in electric vehicles, and maybe even full electric. They've got their place. And I think for a city slicker who has to go through the traffic to work every day and then drives home and can plug her in at night to charge up again, there's probably a place for EVs. I'm not for me. For people like us who got to tow a caravan and go big distances, tell you what I'd love to do. I'd love to go and see Damo down here and go, lend me a Canon Alpha for 2 weeks, mate, and I'll go take it. I'm going to tow the van down to the Barra Crab. I'd love to hook the van up to a Canon Alpha, GWM Canon Alpha, and do the Barra Crab and go, 8-hour drive down, do some camping on the way down, some camping on the way back, and just see how it goes and actually try it for myself. I might go and see Damo. They did say they might lend me a Canon Alpha, and but I don't. They lend it to me for 2 weeks, but it'd be good to try it out. Yeah, I know, John. Here we are thinking we're saving the world by going green, while other countries like India and China, yeah, we're kidding ourselves, mate. We know that. The normal people like me, Brad, and people in it, we all know that, mate. It's just our politicians. Makes them feel better.
It's an ideology, that's what it is.
It's bullshit. We all know that's absolute bullshit. Yeah.
Follow the money, I'd say. That's follow where the money trail leads.
Exactly.
Yeah. You were talking before about well, look, the Camry. And even the Prius before that, there was a mob over in Canada. I think it was in one of the big cities like Ontario or Quebec or somewhere like that. Quebec, is that a city? I don't even know.
Quebec province.
Province, yeah. They had a fleet. Right. They had a fleet of the earlier, like I'm talking 10 to 15 years ago, the Prius. And they were talking about batteries, this, that, and the next thing. And they actually said, we've got a fleet of, 200 of them or whatever, and not one of them has ever had a battery issue. Now, admittedly, the Prius was one of those, it was a hybrid. It wasn't an electric vehicle, but that was the early starts of hybrids. And they said, yep, in all of those vehicles that we've had, we've never had one failure. We've never had one warranty claim with a battery, nothing. So, they probably had a few written off with accidents and that sort of thing. That's going to happen. But
just have a pedal generator at home, Rob. If the power's out, you just got to sit there all night pedaling to charge your car up. That's where I like the PHEVs, mate. You got electric. You got the let's go Canon Alpha, everyone. You got a Canon Alpha and you want to go away on the weekend camping and that. You've still got a 2-litre turbo petrol engine under there. Canon Alpha are bringing out a PHEV diesel as well, everyone. They've got a normal diesel. I think they're going to throw that diesel into a PHEV, which will be even better. That's why I like the PHEVs. You've still got internal combustion engine when the EV is there to assist the engine. So they work together well, and it's only going to get better. I'm not convinced on full EV. I think, yeah, you got to be a city slicker for that shit. But certainly if you own a Canon Alpha and it's got a 100-kilometre range, I could drive to Cairns, go to Cairns Central Shopping Centre, plug her in while I'm in shopping and come out, drive home and not use any fuel. I think there's a bloody, like the idea of whizzing around on electric, doing little short trips and that's appealing to me, Brad. It
Me
does.
too.
It is appealing to me. It's got merit. But we've got vast distances here in Australia. We don't have the infrastructure for full EV yet. We're at least 20 years behind the 8 ball on that. Someone was stuck across a Nullarbor the other day in a Tesla. He was at near South Australia, West Aussie border town or whatever it is, and the charger was out there and he was stranded. So that's why I like a PHEV. At least you can throw petrol or diesel in the bloody thing and keep going. So PHEV EV, I'm not a fan of full EV unless you're a soy latte sipping inner city slicker elbow voter. I think they're the EV people.
But they have their place, you know. That they definitely have their place. Like I said before, you know, about the, you know, if you were living in the middle of one of the big cities and you were commuting to work and back every day, and you know, especially if you've then got the ability to go home and plug it into your house. See, they've also got now, most of these cars now, they've got that V2L technology where you vehicle to load, so you can then plug you can use the battery in your EV to power your house. So, so that, as long as you're then not obviously depleting the battery in the car to run your house overnight, but my 15 kilowatt hour battery here runs my house overnight, sometimes gets down to like 50%. So, you know, 7 kilowatts remaining or thereabouts, kilowatt hours. And then by generally in the summer, by probably 10 o'clock in the morning, she's back up to 100% again. So if you've got the ability to do that, then I think it's a good thing. You know, as Rob said there before, you know, what do you do in a blackout? Well, once again, you can use that ability to plug the car into the house to power the house through the inverter, and, you know, keep everything at least running until you get your main power storage back. But they're limited as far as the transfer current goes. And
well, you Brad, you've got a 15 kilowatt hour battery in your house.
Yeah.
And it power your house all night type thing.
Yeah.
The bloody Canon Alpha has got a 37.1, over twice what you've got in your house is in that. So you can plug your Canon Alpha in and it will power your house twice as long as what your big battery system in your house is running now. Correct? So
yes,
people are doing that. People are going out off grid and they're plugging their caravan in with the I know the Ranger hasn't got it's only got 11.8 kilowatt thing. You can get a 15 amp lead, plug it into your Canon Alpha, plug it into your caravan, and you've still got your microwave and your air conditioner off grid and plugging it into your bloody PHEV ute. Like, you don't need all the lithium batteries. How much lithium do you need in your caravan if you want to run your air conditioner all night? You need a lot of lithium in there. Well, in the bloody, you got 3,000 amps of lithium sitting in the back of your bloody Canon Alpha. People don't think about how big these batteries are in the vehicles when you're starting to run it like for camping purposes. That's what got me excited, is how you can run shit off them. You just do 240 volt stuff. And let's face it, a lot of people now are running in lithium, big lithium inverters, so they can run induction cooking. They can run 240 volt air fryers. A lot of people are going to 240 out camping. Some of us turn our nose up at that type of shit, but a lot of people are going that way. Well, you don't need to have the big lithium setups in you. It's already in there. It's already in your ute. You've got a massive battery already in there. That excites me. I don't know about anyone else. Has anyone else thought about the camping side of things with these PHEV utes? I reckon it's exciting shit. Exciting times ahead, I reckon.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, and like I said, I like technology. I love that sort of stuff. And Mary and I were only discussing this a few months ago. As the CX-5 that we've got's an 18 model, and it's only got 60,000 kilometres on it. She said, when it comes time to sell or get rid of the CX-5 and upgrade it or whatever, would you consider an electric? And I said, yeah, I would, because it's not used for travelling great distances here or there. It's just used to be like a shopping trolley. You know, we pick the kids up from daycare sometimes, and we pick them up from school and run here and run there. It would be perfect for that. And our elderly neighbour that lived on the other side of us here up until 12 months ago, they had a BYD, and he used to charge it from his power point in the house, which it obviously limits the amount of charging current you can put into them. But he had a solar system on the house, and he used to run his electric car. Same thing, only ever drove it around town, just local stuff. You could even get in and drive it to Sydney and back. It had that good a range.
Yeah.
So, you know, and I don't know whether he ever did that. I can't remember, but certainly, you know, they have their place 100%. But as far as what we're talking, from camping, caravan towing, all that sort of stuff, that's where we start to get limitations, I think.
Yeah, and that's where you use your RAM, mate. You use your RAM for that, and for picking the grandies up, going shopping, running errands around Newcastle. An EV would be perfect. So they've got their place, mate. You bring it home, charge him up at home. You've got the solar panel, and you and Mary are retired now, so you can charge her up during the day when you've got the solar on the roof. Do it smart. All right, EVs have got their place. These PHEVs, I think they're only going to get better, and I think when they start getting a decent engine in them that can tow a van, that's when I'll start really, really having a look. This Cherry, everyone, that bloody Cherry, Brad, that's exciting me. That as soon as I heard they're putting a 2.5 litre turbo diesel under it, and it's PHEV with a shitload of battery power in the back, and it's a good looking ute too. Did you like the look of that Cherry, the silver Cherry? I thought it was.
I did. I actually made the comment that, you know, that styling and looks are subjective. You know, like the Kia Tasman's grown on me a little bit, to be honest. I didn't like them when they first came out, but I've seen more of them around now, and I go, yeah, they look a bit tough. They look a bit like Hummerish, that sort of stuff, and I don't mind that look. But once again, that's subjective, you know. But as far as the good battery range, like if you had, imagine you had 400 kilometers of electric, plus then you had the backup of a full tank and a very capable internal combustion engine driving a generator, which is driving the traction motors on the wheels. Imagine if you had that available, where you didn't have to worry about. And that's why I've always said about these vehicles, PHEV is the way to go.
Yeah.
Plug-in hybrid electric vehicles, that's the way to go, because it takes that range anxiety away.
Yes, it does.
I've got a couple of 100 kilometers worth of battery power, and I've got 400 or 500 or 600 kilometers worth of range in my diesel tank, in my petrol tank, or whatever. You know, that to me is a winner. I don't think there's a lot. The only thing they need to do then is make sure that the technology is there and the quality's there, and make sure their warranty backups are there, because that's one thing that I've noticed in the Chinese the Chinese manufacturers, their warranty backup was terrible. We used to do some work for a manufacturer I won't speak about, but they were hopeless. They were terrible. We had constant gearbox problems with them, and we ended up having to take gearboxes out, send them to a transmission specialist, a gearbox specialist, get them rebuilt, and then come back. And then you'd get onto them, and you'd have the warranty pre-approved, and they go, "Oh no, I can get that cheaper from so and so down the road." No, you can't. You know, it's bullshit. You know, and I'd show them the invoice. I'd say, "Look, there's what it cost, and there's the bag of parts that they had to replace." You know, and they were shocking at paying. We'd wait 3, 4, 5 months for our money. That's if we got it.
Yeah.
Xpeng have just gone under in Australia. You know, the base, I think the main company in China has taken it over, but I think we're going to see a sort of like a leveling of the playing field here, because there's so many of them. Like Chery own JQ as well. GWM own different ones, and they're all sort of back to a main company, but then all of those companies are linked back to the Chinese government as well. You know, they all have partnerships with the Chinese Communist Party, you know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
If you want, guys, go out and buy an Aussie-made PHEV. There isn't one. And
No,
if you
there's
buy
not one.
$200,000, and it probably come with an 18-month warranty. Slacken's on, everyone. Slacken's in the house.
Hey, Mark.
Just at the arse end of it, mate. We're about to wind up in a minute. But, yeah, we're going on about wind farms and all that. I don't want to go down there. They are an eyesore, everyone. And that bloody koala, you know, the wildlife and that they kill for these things. We won't go down that rabbit hole. I'm not a fan of it either. I'm a fan of green energy, everyone, but I think we've got to do it smart, the way we do it. And I think we still need to, and John hit the nail on the head. Australia's sitting back here thinking we're going to save the world by going green. It ain't going to happen, everyone. Not while there's other countries out there producing a lot more carbon into the thing than what we are. Way more, like the Indians and the Chinese. We sell all our coal. We still mine top quality coal, Brad, and it goes over. That's what Phil, my son's a coal miner. He said all our good coal goes overseas. He said we don't keep it ourselves. He said
we don't keep it because we don't use it.
No,
we don't use it. That's the reason why. They've just up here, like the Hunter Valley has got up until recently had, well, actually 3. They had the one down on the south of Lake Macquarie, Bales Point. That's just been extended for another 3 or 4 years. They're going to spend some money on that. Why? Because the renewable energy targets aren't, being met, and they can't produce the baseload that we need. Liddell Power Station just closed, and the government was saying, "Oh yeah, it's because it's unreliable and we have to spend money." Yeah, because you didn't spend any money for the previous 10 years, you idiots. You didn't. Yeah. Like these generators and turbines need to be serviced, and they weren't spending the money. Oh, it's because they're too expensive and they need to be replaced anyway. And then we've got Bayswater Power Station up here in the Hunter Valley near Muswellbrook as well, which is pretty much across the road from Liddell, pretty much. It's still going, but Liddell's just been knocked down, and they've just put a big battery storage place into it, like battery storage facility in there. And there's a lot of that happening around here. There's one down on the Central Coast. There's another one at sort of Lake Macquarie. There's another couple going up here at near Singleton and Muswellbrook, the Upper Hunter. They're putting them in all over the place. But once again, what happens when the batteries fail? You've then got to go ahead and replace them again.
Yeah, or when
is that more or less expensive than keeping a coal-fired power station running? I don't know.
Solar's good, and we know this from camping. Solar panels are fantastic until the sun's not out, and then they're useless. And wind turbines are great until there's no wind, and then they're useless. So you always got to have a plan B, as I keep saying. I've got one more clip here. I don't know if I've showed this one, Brad. Let me see if I can bring this clip up. Share the screen. See what this one. Oh, no, I've done that one. I had one of the, I think I deleted it before, the Tank 300 going up Beer O'Clock Hill on standard tyres, mate. Stock standard with standard road tyres, and it ate it up like it wasn't there. And you've seen other vehicles going up Beer O'Clock Hill. Unbelievable. Yeah, nuclear, John, we, without going down the power rabbit hole, mate, we're one of the leading the biggest uranium stocks in the world here, and we don't mine it because we don't want to go down nuclear. That's what lost Peter Dutton the last election, mate. He wanted to go and build nuclear power stations, and it was quite obvious that the majority of Australians are not prepared to go nuclear. Brad, is that the way you saw it? I think that was one of the big sticking points for Peter Dutton. It was obvious people didn't want to have nuclear power. I don't know if we don't trust it.
I think that's the way that the other parties, like the Greens and Labor, made the ads. I mean, what did they always use? The big mushroom cloud, this is what happens, and people walking around, with radiation suits on and that sort of stuff. The overwhelming evidence, like around the world, tells you that it's safe. You know, it's probably among the safest power generation technologies in the world. And yet, if you get a political ideology that says, no, you know, it's too dangerous, they'll make whatever ads and they'll scare people. You know, and that's exactly what it did. And I saw it up at the polling booths up here at the last election when I handed out for One Nation, you know, like on the pre-polling and whatnot. And, you know, and I just sat back and listened to some of the stuff that was coming out of the Labor, and they were aggressive. Those people up there, they were handing out, and the Liberals were as well. They were really aggressive. And here we are just sending out, would you like one of these, ma'am? You know, and they were just unbelievable. Yeah, that's right. We give up. We surrender. We surrender.
I ran a good scare campaign when it comes to the nuclear. People have got long memories, mate. Everyone remembers Chernobyl in the Ukraine, and everyone remembers Fukushima when that bloody earthquake hit Japan and they nearly lost control of Fukushima nuclear plant. People remember that, mate. Like the Japs went close to losing that. That could have been another Chernobyl, mate. I think people have got that in the back of their mind when it comes to nuclear. It's all good when it's working. You only need an earthquake or something like that, and shit could, Still scared from Fukushima. Exactly. That's exactly what I just said, Rob. Yeah. They nearly lost that, the Japs. They nearly lost Fukushima. They did well to keep that under control, mate, when the earthquake and the tidal wave hit. And Fukushima, she was on a knife's edge. That was, and people remember that, mate. It wasn't that long ago. 2011, was it? When was that bloody
11? I think you said then,
yeah. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. We've been going for 2.5 hours. That's way long enough. Talking about PHEVs, I'm looking forward to seeing the new Cherry come out. I can't wait to see the new Tank 700 come out with a 4-litre twin-turbo V8 in it, and it's still got 3,000 amps of bloody lithium in the back of it to go camping and that. There's just incredible. It's only going to get better, Brad. The PHEVs, these are the three start. The Shark, the Canon Alpha, and the Ford. Ford just went half. I think Ford jumped into it. They should have sat back and watched for a little bit. I think Ford got pressured into you've got to go EV. I think whether the Australian government pressured them into that, but you see the power that the Canon Alphas come out with compared to the Ranger. The Ranger's just looks inadequate now, and when you can only get 250 kilometres towing a decent sized van out of the new Ford Ranger PHEV, 250 kilometres doesn't cut the mustard. The battery's too small. The EV's distance is way too short, and the bloody 25 per 100 isn't good enough, and a 250 kilometre limit in a ute towing a van is piss poor. So we've got a long way to go. Ford's got a long way to go. The Chinese are all over it. The Cherry's coming out. Yeah.
And now put that vehicle into a low temperature or a high temperature environment and watch the battery capacity degrade, not permanently, but enough that now that 200 or 300 kilometers now becomes 50.
Yeah.
In a cold or a hot environment. And that's the reality of the chemistry. You can't help that unless you start running heaters, which they do, electric heaters that run coolant through these batteries to keep them warm or cool, whichever way they're going, to keep them at a normal operating temperature. But once again, that then draws power out of the battery, and that's just the reality of it. So
that Ford Ranger PHEV, that's way behind the Canon Alpha. That don't do what Dave did. That bloke, he's got one, and he said it's supposed to get 43. Just if you want to drive it on EV only, just battery only, get 43 kilometers or whatever. He said he's lucky to get 36 out of his before the battery's flat. It's just not good enough, mate. The Canon Alphas and the Sharks, they get over 100 on EV. So automatically, the two Chinese utes have left the Australian engineered ute for dead, mate. We're way behind the 8 ball. And here are the Chinese going to bring out the Cherry with a 2.5 litre turbo diesel PHEV and then the Shark 700 coming out with a twin turbo V8 PHEV.
Yeah.
Like, mate, we got a long way to go, Australia.
Hopefully they let the market decide too, and not through any other mechanism, either be by putting the price of liquid fuels up, or tax incentives or whatever. I hope they let the market decide what happens here. Because if they don't, I think we're all screwed, because you can't have engineering based on that type of influence. You've got to have it based on what people are prepared to buy and use.
Yeah. I got a confession to make, Bradley, to everyone on live air.
You've been on Grindr.
I sent an email to someone the other day begging this. I never do this. I sent an email to Cherry, and I said, Cherry Australia. I said, hey, I like the look of this new Cherry Stockman ute. If you want a YouTuber to get out of your Melbourne and doing all this test driving in Melbourne, and you want someone to hook a bloody caravan up to it and take it camping and take it to Cape York and whatever, I'm your man. Do you reckon I'll hear back from them? Nah. So everyone, get on the Cherry website and tell them Mr. Buckaroony, you want Mr. Buckaroony to give Mr. Buckaroony a Cherry ute on loan, not permanently, obviously, to do some real world testing on it. I like the look of that ute. It's got me excited, everyone. And then get on to GWM and tell them when the Tank 700 comes in, give Mr. Buckaroony one. Anyway, the last thing I want to say, Bradley, is someone hit me up last night. I'm sick of everyone asking me about a recipe book, and I've weakened. I think I'm going to do one, mate. I think now that I've a Chat GPT monster, I'm going to have a crack at a recipe book. Doing all the stuff that I've done over the years, camp cooking, stuff you can do in the backyard, coconut curry chicken, vermicelli chicken, Russia's bush donuts, bread and butter pudding, all that type of stuff. I'm going to bring a Mr. Buckaroony recipe book out, and all the profits from that, if it ever gets off the ground, will go towards charity. You know how I rock and roll, everyone. So
Barry just said about bloody time. Yeah.
I want not Kim Jong Un. Who's President Xi? I want a red one, John, with a big face of President Xi on the front, please, mate. When you send me over that T-shirt, the Chinese flag on the back, and a big face of President Xi on the front, mate, and I'll wear it around with pride. What do you?
If you want a loose unit, Buck's your man.
I mean, I've gone full Changa, as Tofty would say. I've gone full Changa mode, but as I said, mate, that's the future. Where are the? I don't know what it's like in America, John. Like, are the Americans behind the 8 ball on this? From what I've seen, the Chinese are they've just gone all in. They've gone all in, and they're going to dominate.
They have Chinese vehicles over there. I don't think they're allowed to. They're banned from America.
No, but I'm talking I'm talking about how much are the American companies getting into trying to go PHEV. I know John said something about a F-150 electric before. How serious are the Americans about going electric? I'm tipping they're probably even worse than us old Aussies and still love their big V8 petrols and V8 diesels, mate. I think the Yanks will probably be even more stubborn than what us Aussies are when it comes to electric.
They got the Rivian, which is that electric ute. They've got the Tesla Cybertruck. There's a couple of others that are a bit like odd names to us, like Rivian I'd never heard of before until I saw them on YouTube. But I think they've limited their amount of exposure, and I think they're concerned, as I probably would be, because I mean, I have heard. Well, we saw what happened with the now. Who was it? It was the Israelis had intercepted an order of, was it mobile phones or pages or something into Gaza years beforehand, and they'd made them that they only had to send this coded signal to these pages and mobile phones for them to blow up. Remember that happened just after October 7, I think it was. And you think, okay, are there secret technologies in these cars that if they wanted to, invade Australia, that they could all just go bingo bango and blow these things up, set all these houses on fire, decimate the place without dropping one bomb. Who knows?
Who knows? It's possible, mate. It's possible. I read something the other day about if you own a Chinese vehicle, make sure your Bluetooth and Wi-Fi and everything's turned off to your mobile phone because they can tap into it. Is that tinfoil hat shit? I don't know. We'll probably never know.
It's not just the Chinese either.
No.
Ford does it. I think a lot of the European brands do it as well.
Yeah.
They can say, oh, you exceeded the speed limit by 20 kilometres an hour back here, 3 months ago. Your warranty's void. See ya.
Yeah. Anyway, so we'll never know. But anyway, all I know is that these PHEV vehicles, mate, I know the three originals, the Shark, the Canon Alpha, and the Ranger are very interesting, guys. Go onto YouTube and have a look at it and make your own mind up. I'm not convinced on them yet. I think when they start putting a decent engine in there, a turbo diesel, that can tow a caravan properly. I think the combination of a good diesel engine and electric, I think they're going to be a good thing in years to come. I reckon in 5 or 10 years, everyone's going to be driving around in them. This is just the start, and there's more to come. And we've already seen the market. There's more coming in, everyone. There's more coming in. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, interesting times ahead, Brad. It's a good topic to talk about, and you can tell there's people in the chat that are totally not okay with all this type of stuff. I'm one of them, but I am opening my eyes up a bit more, mate. They haven't sold me yet, but I am opening my eyes up, and I can see that. It is exciting, and I'm really excited to see how far they progress down the track. And I can't wait to see this Cherry, and one will look good sitting in my shed, towing the Jayco caravan around. Anyway, America. Yeah, that's all right. Bloody Trumpy, imagine the tariff. Trumpy won't let the Chinese stuff go in there. It's good in a way. He's trying to support American made and all that, and good on him for that. But the thing here, John, we don't have Australian made anymore, mate. That is been and gone. That as far as we don't make no vehicles here anymore. That we make no tyres. Like we just make nothing anymore, Brad. Like we're gone. Yeah. We rely on if China said to us tomorrow, we're going to stop exporting everything to you guys, we'd be on our knees in a week. We'd be rat shit. We saw it during COVID, mate, when we couldn't get containers in. And Bunnings and all that started drying up. Yeah, so
and what they've learned about what they've learned from both COVID and the fuel crisis and all that sort of stuff? Nothing. They've learned nothing.
When this fuel thing, we'll go back to normal, mate, until the next crisis. We don't learn.
Everyone will be focused on what's going on over here and not looking at what was over here.
Yeah, I know, mate. We got short memories. We just we don't learn from our mistakes, mate. But yeah, we rely heavily on China now, whether you like it or not, guys. Whether you like it or not, everything that I'm doing here, the computer, the printer, my mobile phone, the stapler, everything. There'd be nothing Australian made in this room. Everything is made overseas because we lost that capability a long time ago because of the cost of wages, the cost of electricity, insurances, taxes from the government, bloody draining companies every last cent. You only have to have a see how many companies are going down the gurgler now, mate, to know that just be trying to stay Australian made is just becoming non-viable now, mate. But anyway, that's for another subject. Take it easy, Brad. And apologies to Mary for dragging you away for so long, mate.
I was just sitting back watching a diddly donk on YouTube, that's all.
No, that's all right. Hey, the old fried rice went all right. Who liked the fried rice cook-up in the little frying pan? I'll tell you what, I had to cook some big thick beef sausages yesterday and onion gravy. Ros was going out with her sisters and that, and me and Jamil. Ros said, cook. And I wonder if the big frying pan will run off the little Blue Eddy. Blue Eddy's got an 1800-watt inverter in it. Well, the frying pan pulled 1760. It made it. And I cooked the sausages and everything up. That little Blue Eddy can run the full-size electric frying pan as well. Drains the battery a lot quicker, but that little $20 frying pan, everyone, is a bloody little beauty. Pulls 470 watts, pulls no power at all. It's bloody incredible. And that fried rice I did, everyone, come up all right. Send it to Uncle Roger to get Uncle Roger to do a critique. Have you seen Uncle Roger critiquing people's fried rices? Funny shit, mate. Uncle Roger, he's funny. And he talked to Jamie Oliver and Gordon Ramsay making egg fried rice. And Uncle Roger, who's a young Malaysian comedian, he critiques their fried rice. I'd love to see Uncle Roger get mine. The first thing he'd see is the frying pan, and he'd just be hanging shit on me because you're only allowed to do fried rice in a wok. If you don't do it in a wok, it's already no good. But anyway, our bosses reckons power cost is the big problem at the refinery. There you go. Yeah. Blackers works at the fuel refinery down in Melbourne, everyone, at Geelong. Our bosses reckon power cost is the biggest problem.
Yeah. Well, you look out here, like only 20 minutes this way, we've got Tomago Aluminium at Tomago, just near Newcastle. Yeah. And obviously I think they might be one of the highest users of electricity in the state, if not the country. Yeah. And their power contract is either running out or has run out. And it turns out that they said we can't afford to do this in Australia anymore. We're going to have to close down. Now, whether that was just a veiled threat or whether it was reality, I don't know. And the government stepped in and said, well, we're going to have to do something here. And I believe there's money in the budget to subsidise aluminium production out here because they produce a huge amount of aluminium at Tomago Aluminium. And like from raw material, obviously bauxite, and they've been running for decades. But for government support, they will probably lose it. So that'll be another industry that will lose, and it'll probably go to China or somewhere else. So, we used to have, in Newcastle, we had a vibrant shipbuilding community here. Those technologies, those skills have gone, and they will never return. No. They're gone. They're gone for good.
We've lost it. We've lost it. I remember speaking to Luke from Drifter years ago, and Luke said, when he had the dot factory going, mate, and he said, mate, you should see the costs behind the scenes, wages, everyone wanting pay rises all the time, payroll taxes, electricity costs, and blah, blah, blah. He said, I was just up against it, trying to manufacture in this country, mate. Like, it's sad to see, mate. And you know what? If someone said, we're going to put all these solar panels in and these big wind turbines and your electricity is going to be half of what you're paying now, I'd be all for it, everyone, as long as we do it and try and be environmentally about it. But it's not, mate. Our electricity's going up. It's not cheaper. No. It's not bloody cheaper. And everyone, you only have to get your electricity bill every month and go, friggin' hell, I've got solar panels on my roof and I'm still paying through the arse. How much are people paying that don't have solar panels? People can't bloody keep up anymore, Brad. But anyway, that's for another subject. See you later, everyone. I'm going to piss off, have another coffee, and I don't know what I'll do. It's not raining at the moment, but it's not looking sunny either. Anyway, and hopefully see some of you at the Barra Crab in about a week and a half, everyone. Really. I rang up, just quickly, Brad, rang up a campground south of Townsville. We're going to stay there on the way home. So we're going to go from Barra Crab, and it's a place called Mount Surround Campground, just south of Townsville. And it looks really, really nice. Anyway, I rang up the other day and went, oh, mate, it's Paul Rogers calling from Innisfail. I'd like to book in for a night. He goes, and I said, oh, you got any powered sites? He goes, yeah, Buck, you can stay for nothing, mate. And I went, I haven't told him I'm Buck. And then he goes, I'll be paying, mate. I'm not taking it for nothing. Anyway, he's sent
so they had availability?
Yeah, mate. Yeah. So Mount Surround Campgrounds. It's on a lake south of town, so it looks bloody nice. They've got amenities there and powered sites. And Russ has just sent me. So you ever stayed at Mount Surround, Russ? South of Townsville? That looks like a really nice place to camp. So yeah, we're looking forward to it. We're going to stay north of Mackay and just spend about 10 days for the Barra Crab for about 3 days, and then just have a look around on the way down and look around on the way back and stay at a place we haven't stayed before, mate. So really looking forward to the Barra Crab. Caravan's all serviced up. BT's ready to go. And looking forward to having a beer with all you guys at the Barra Crab. Reggie Campbell and Tommy Oliver and Rob the Wanderer and Rob Richmond's coming up, everyone. Lukey Reed from Tassie. So it'll be good to catch up with some of the community again, Brad. And that's what it's all about, mate, is this bloody community here all getting together when we can. And I think Rob the Wanderer is going to run another camping event down in South Queensland later in the year. And hopefully some of the bloody Southerners can get up for that, or some of the cockroaches and all that type of stuff. Anyway, good luck in the Origin next Wednesday, mate, not Wednesday week. You'll need it.
Yes, into the cauldron. Literally.
Yeah, can't wait for that. If Queensland lose, I'm not turning up to the Barra Crab, everyone. I can't face Greg Campbell hanging shit on me. Anyway, all right. Thanks, Bradley. Thanks for tuning in, mate. It's always an interesting subject. It's a subject I'm really interested in. These plug-in electric hybrid bloody utes, and not just utes, but vehicles as well. The Chinese things coming out standard with front and rear diff lockers and that. What you get for the money is incredible. So anyway, stay tuned. They're only going to get better, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where we are in 5 years with these things. And I'll sit back and watch for a while, and maybe when I can tap into my super and Roz lets me, they might have the technology where it is really worth going for then, getting one of these plug-in electric vehicles that can friggin' tow for 1,200 kilometres and you're averaging about 8 litres per 100 or whatever. Wouldn't that be good to see? Anyway, see you later. Take care, everyone. We'll catch you again. I don't know if we'll be on next Sunday. We'll see. See you, Bradley. Thanks again, mate. See ya. See you. Bye, everyone. See ya.